Hello, everybody, and welcome to Forever Rugby on Forever Sport. And today we're going to be talking about how to watch the URC semi-finals for free on a free-to-air broadcaster. As we reach the business end of the URC, you don't want to miss a moment. You never want to miss a moment, and especially when we want you to watch with us on our watch-alongs. You know, we are not trying to be an alternative. It's a watch-along, which means that you must watch while we watch, and we can chat about the game together. That's the whole point of the Forever Sports watch-alongs. And so this sort of video is a bit of a demonstration as to how you can watch the matches that will be played this weekend. Now, first things first, unless you are in a territory where your free-to-air network is broadcasting it, it can never be completely free. However, you can access free-to-air networks through the use of a virtual private network or a VPN, and we recommend using ExpressVPN as that has been tried and tested by us and definitely does work. And as a result, through VPN, ExpressVPN, you will be able to watch both the Stormers versus Ulster as well as Bulls versus Leinster on a free-to-air network where you don't have to sign up, you don't have to have any credit card details, anything like that. You don't have to buy like a URC package or whatever, and you'll be able to watch those matches this weekend on a free-to-air broadcaster. So in terms of how you do it and what the options are, there are plenty of paid broadcasters, and every territory will have their paid broadcaster. Whether it's Premier Sports, Super Sport, for example, in South Africa, Mediaset, I think it is in Italy. There are so many different channels, but there will be a broadcaster for every territory. And if you don't have an official broadcaster, you can then watch the match on URC TV. And I think a single match game is about $12, I think it is around there. And that's per match, basically. So it makes a lot more sense to get ExpressVPN and then watch these matches on free-to-air broadcast. So in terms of what you have to do, we'll bring it up. Once you install, so we've got a link down in the comments to VPN, and we've got a special offer for you guys as well to make it as cost-effective as possible. So once you install ExpressVPN, you'll come up to this thing over here, and you need to select your location. So we are going to be selecting Ireland because the Irish free-to-air broadcasts are the ones showing it this weekend. So you can see right now we're not currently connected. Now, in terms of where they're being broadcast, you see these will if you go to this page, it's just the match center on the URC website. If you go to this page, then that will show you exactly where they're being broadcast, and it'll show you where you're being broadcast in territory. So, for example, if we were to I'm currently now on South African server, so I were to refresh that, it'll come up with Supersport because that is the South African broadcaster. Now, as soon as I go and click on the on button for ExpressVPN, this suddenly geolocates my device in Ireland, in inverted commas, which means as soon as we refresh this, suddenly these are the Irish broadcasters. Now, TG4 and RTE are both free-to-air broadcasters. Now, full warning, TG4 is an Irish language broadcaster, which means that the commentary will not be in English for the Leinster versus Bulls game. However, it still will be free to watch. You can still watch all the action. So in that case, what I recommend doing is turn that game on, mute the commentary if you don't want to listen to the Irish commentary, put on a watch along next to you, and we'll take you through it. And if you just coordinate, we'll have our clock, and if you just coordinate the clock, we'll be reacting and talking about exactly what's happening as it does happen. Which is a lot of fun. Now, Saturday, for example, on RTE, that is English language. So at the moment, you see it says something went wrong because you weren't connected to our Irish server. So as soon as we connect to our Irish server, I'm not logged in, as you can see, or anything like that. There's no login. There is a login for S4C, but you don't have to put any credit card details, anything like that. Here we are. This is live on RTE 1, 2, News, and the Kids channel. And as soon as you are on with the Irish over here, as you can see there, bang, you can watch it live. And it's that easy. It is literally that easy. That's all you have to do. And both games, I said, will be on these free-to-air networks, so you don't have to pay any subscription fee or anything. All you need is ExpressVPN. So make sure you go and download that, and you'll be able to watch all the action. And at this stage, I think it's pretty much confirmed that there will also be on the final will also be on a free-to-air network next week. Will be one of them. I don't know which one it will be, but it will be on a free-to-air network, so we'll be able to tell you where to watch it. But that's why I recommend getting ExpressVPN. We'll be doing the same sort of videos for the Springboks versus Wales series, and just telling you how to watch rugby in the most cost-effective way. And ExpressVPN really is a fantastic way to watch rugby all over the world. I used to watch Top 14 occasionally, as well as Premiership Rugby, which is not being shown here. As well as you can also watch, for example, Major League Rugby and stuff. And if you do have a subscription to a paid service and you are traveling, for example, you can then go back to the server of the country in which you have that paid service and be able to access it. So, for example, if I have a SuperSport subscription, I can then go to England, for example, use VPN to make my device geolocated into South Africa, and I can still watch my SuperSport. So it really is a very useful tool. Link is down in the description. Please let me know who you're supporting this weekend. Please do smash like on the video and subscribe to the channel as well. Thank you very much for watching. My name is Steven, and I'll chat to you soon. Hello and welcome to Forever Rugby on Forever Sports. For today's preview, Leinster versus Bulls, the first URC semi-final ever, as we go into the last final four of the URC. In a week's time, one team will be crowned the URC champions in what they're calling the grand final. But before then, we have got two South African versus Irish semi-finals to get through, and the first of them is going to be happening at the RDS Arena as Leinster, top of the log, the tournament favourites, the European heavyweights, host South African heavyweights, Bulls, who are the most successful South African domestic side in history. They've won Super Rugby titles. They've won Currie Cup titles. They've won Rainbow Cup South Africa. Didn't quite win the entire Rainbow Cup, but they were in the final for the Rainbow Cup titles. The question is, can they do the impossible, get past Leinster, get themselves to a final, and see if they can add the URC to what is a really pretty stacked trophy cabinet? Right now, the Bulls currently have every piece of silverware in South Africa rugby, from the SA Under 20, Women's Currie Cups, Varsity Cup through Tucks and stuff like that. Pretoria is the home of South African rugby, and they are going overseas and face the daunting task of trying to topple the European giants, Leinster, who are very much into trying to win this URC on the back of not being able to get over the line for the European Champions Cup. It is set to be an absolute scorcher of a game. We will be live for this, so make sure you come and check it out tomorrow night. You can come follow us on the Watchalong. There's also a video out in terms of how to watch the match using a VPN, and you can watch it on a free-to-air broadcaster. But before we look at the two sides, please do smash like on the video and subscribe to the channel as well. In terms of the two sides that will be taken to the park, we'll start with Leinster, and this is how they will line up. An absurd amount of quality, pedigree, experience, anything you could possibly like in this Leinster side. In the front row of Andrew Porter, Dan Sheehan, and Tyke Furlong. What more could you want? I mean, Tyke Furlong, arguably the best tight head in the world. Andrew Porter has played so many games for Ireland, so many games for Leinster. You've got Dan Sheehan in the second row, and he'll be replaced by like Sean Cronin, who's got well over 200 games for Leinster. So there's as much experience as you could possibly want in the front row sense. In the second row, you've got Joe McCarthy and James Ryan, who will captain the side. James Ryan has played 57 games for Leinster, very much one of the part of the island sort of future, the sort of the next generation, really. Very mature player. And then for me, it's this loose trio, which is so exciting. Caelan Doris, Josh van der Fleer, and Jack Conan. Jack Conan has come into the starting lineup and will partner his two Irish international teammates. And those three, I think, versus Marcel Coetzee, Arno Botha, and Albert Lowe, for me, will be the very one of the key battles and probably one of the most interesting things to watch in tomorrow night's game. The halfback combination is Jamison Gibson Park, Ross Byrne, who was actually named in the URC Dream Team. Johnny Sexton's on the bench. I mean, what a pleasure to be able to bring on a former World Player of the Year, one of the greatest fly halves the game has produced, to be able to bring them on in the second half. You know, Johnny Sexton not needed to start in this game. He's coming back from injury inevitably. But Ross Byrne is a quality replacement, so I don't think there's too much of a drop between the two of them. But Johnny Sexton's just a different class, isn't he? The two wings, Roy O'Loughlin and Jordan Lamar. And then the centre combination, Robbie Henshaw, Gary Ringrose. Robbie Henshaw, British and Irish Lion. Gary Ringrose, sensational. You know, that centre pairing is just incredible in terms of style quality. They played so much rugby together. They know each other, ins and outs of each other. And then you've got Jimmy O'Brien at full back. A couple of injuries in Leinster, so it's not maybe as strong as they could possibly make their side, which I suppose, you know, just shows you how good they are. But off the bench, Sean Cronin, over 200 caps for Leinster. Cian Healy, almost 250. In fact, this is his 249th cap for Leinster. Marco Alatoa, former Super Rugby winner. So from a front row perspective, they don't get much worse when they do start making the changes. You've then got Ross Maloney, well over 100 caps for Leinster, Ryan Beard, Luke McGrath, Johnny Sexton, Kieran Frawley. Between Luke McGrath and Johnny Sexton, there are almost 350 caps for Leinster between those two. And then you look at the Bulls bench, and there's a lot of experience, mostly in the form of Morné Steyn and Bismarck du Plessis. But they just don't quite have the experience that this Leinster side have. So if we look at the Bulls side, this is how they will line up. They are unchanged 1 through to 15. So it's Gerard Steenekamp, Johan Grobbelaar, Morné Smith. Much younger front row, a lot more to prove. I think Johan Grobbelaar is very much international quality. Morné Smith, Gerard Steenekamp, they are going to have to step up tomorrow night. They're going to have to put their hands up and say, I don't care who you are. I don't care what you've done in your career. I am the man opposite you right now, and you're not going to get the better of me. Because if they don't, you do feel the floodgates will open and Leicester will be able to punish them quite quickly. And the second row, Ruan Nokia, Walt Steenkamp, a very useful lock combination. Ruan Nokia played the most minutes in the URC this season and got the Ironman Award for it, and is very much, for me, ready to play international rugby. Walt Steenkamp has also been very good. The partnership is very good. I think Walt Steenkamp is very much underrated because sometimes he's in the shadow of Ruan Nokia, but he has been playing so well. But once again, a bit like Leinster, it's this loose trio, which is so exciting. Arno Botha, Marcel Coetzee, Albert Lowe. Marcel Coetzee captaining the side. Everybody's saying that he should be playing for the Boks, should be starting for the Boks. Albert Lowe, somebody's tasked to potentially be taking over the mantle from Dwayne Vermeulen. And Arno Botha is a world beater on his day. The question is, will he have his day tomorrow night? Zach Berg and Chris Smith are continue to be backed. Mbose Pierre, Morné Steyn, both internationally capped and an international quality, opted to become on the bench. So a big moment for Zach Berg and Chris Smith to really come to the fore against a very good side. Madosh Tambwe, David Creel, Kane Moody is the back three. And Madosh Tambwe being the most experienced out of those three kind of shows you how inexperienced the other two are. David Creel, Kane Moody, very young players, but particularly Kane Moody just looks like a different class. He does not look out of place at this level at all. And I'm very excited to see what he does on the biggest stage that you possibly can have in his career right now. You know, the next level after this is international rugby. So it doesn't get much bigger in terms of a stage for him to really continue making his name. Harold Forster, Cornel Hendricks, the centre combination. Cornel Hendricks, I think, will be as good as he always is. Harold Forster, I think they're going to need a big game from him. And Cornel Hendricks very much backing his inside partner, because he said, well, they've got Robbie Henshaw and Gary Ringworth, we've got Harold Forster. So that kind of shows you the level in which Cornel Hendricks really does rate Harold Forster. Off the bench, Bismarck du Plessis is the experience in between two inexperienced props in the likes of Simphiwe Mantanzima, Robert Hunt, very much experiencing playoff rugby at this level for the first time. But especially in terms of Mantanzima, very talented young player and somebody who I think really relishes these type of occasions. Janko Swanepoel, WJ Steenkamp will cover the rest of the scrum. Then Mbose Pierre, Morné Steyn, Kirtley Arendse. Quality backline replacements. Mbose Pierre, so much experience, starting to look close to his best. Has had a couple of subpar games, but in general, I really think that his tactical kicking game and his game management is second to none in the country. And Morné Steyn, the definition of BMT. Been there, done that, will slot any penalty at any point, at any moment. He's done it before, he can do it again. And then Kirtley Arendse, just X factor, magic, something out of nothing, that type of player. And if they're chasing a game, he's someone that they need to get the ball to a lot. If they're seeing out a game, Morné Steyn and Mbose Pierre, I think, are the perfect two to try and get them over the line. But let me know what you think of the two teams down in the comments below. I think that it's going to be I'm hoping it'll be quite a tight affair. I do think Leinster will get the better of Bulls, but I do, in many ways, feel like Bulls have got a better chance being Leinster than maybe Stormers have, just in terms of what is expected to be rainy conditions, to be able to front up, really, from a pack point of view. They have played a far more expansive brand of rugby over the season, have Bulls, but you do feel in this sort of clash, sometimes you go back to your guns, you go back to what you can really do, to try and nullify your opposition. And I think when it starts getting too open, I think Leinster might be able to pick Bulls apart. So it'll be interesting to see the sort of tactics that the Bulls and Jake White do employ tomorrow night. I want to know what your score predictions are down in the comments below. Please do smash a like on the video and subscribe to the channel as well. Thank you very much for watching. My name is Stephen, and I'll chat to you soon. And we are live. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Forever Rugby on Forever Sports. Today's live preview of the URC semi-finals, which kick off tomorrow night as Leinster host the Bulls at the RDS Arena. And both Leinster and Bulls have named their sides for tomorrow night. Ulster as Storm is still yet to name their sides, so we're going to have to go through theirs without knowing exactly who's going to be lining up. But we can sort of take a trip down to last weekend and sort of look at what we can sort of expect to see in terms of the Ulster and Stormers lineups and stuff like that. Very interesting to see that John Dobson has confirmed that a certain Stormers youngster will be involved once again this weekend. And I think that we can probably sort of hazard a guess as to what kind of the Stormers team is going to look like. But before we look at the two sort of sides, stuff like that, we're going to go through each match separately. Please do smash a like on the video. Please do subscribe to the channel as well. And yeah, we're going to be live for both these matches. So Bulls versus Leinster tomorrow night. It starts at 8:30 South African Standard Time. So we'll be live, probably doing some pre-match stuff from about 8ish, maybe even before that, if we can get ourselves organized. And then, we'll switch over to the live coverage just before the game, and then we'll be doing a live watch-along and stuff like that, doing reviews. So please make sure that you go and turn your reminders. For example, we've already scheduled the stream, so you can go to the stream, you can go and set the reminder, and you'll actually get a little notification as soon as we do go live, so that you can come and join us for the game. But until then, I want to see score predictions in the comments. I want to see what your thoughts are about the two teams. I want to see your thoughts are about for the game tomorrow. And let me know what you guys think, and then we'll sort of talk about it, go look at some of the players to watch out, and hopefully a lot of what we say today will actually come true tomorrow, or at least bear a bit of meaning. But yeah, so I'm seeing that Rugby Rocks in the chat. I'm seeing Blindman Pepspray in the chat. I'm seeing SF Farmer. I'm seeing Hadley now. I'm seeing Sabrina Swart. I'm seeing Dylan McAvoy. I'm seeing Tim van den Berg. A couple of the comments say Rugby Rocks says they're supposed to end up a all SF final. Blindman Pepspray saying Irish versus South Africa for the two games. I feel like what people are sleeping on is Ulster beating Leinster twice this season and was very short against the Stormers away. S Farmer says true, but our teams have grown enormously throughout the season, so I think it'll be appetizing rugby weekend, including the Curry Cup game between the Bulls and the Cheetahs. And there, my says Blue Bulls and Cheetahs, man, so much good rugby for SA ahead. Agreed. And this is why Ulster, even if they win against Stormers, they won't host the final. Leinster would. That's assuming that Leinster don't lose to the Bulls, though. So those are the three that can still host the final. If Bulls beat Leinster and Ulster beat Stormers, Ulster will have a home final. So when you are voting for Stormers to have a home final, you are then assuming that the Bulls will beat Leinster. Because if Leinster win, then they will host the final. But those are still the possibilities. Rugby Rock says, go Bulls tomorrow. Bulls are a very different team to the one who lost to Leinster last year, 31-3 in round one. Kevin Berg says, hi Steve, feeling nervous for our teams, hoping for the best, but I think Ulster and Leinster are going to sweep. SF Farmer reckons Ulster's there because if the Bulls win, yeah, there we go. So that's just explaining that part. Honeynuts going Bulls by 4 or 5, Ulster by 10. How's it going, Swats? Hope you're well. Karen's got in the score prediction there. He's going Stormers 27, Ulster 23. And right, so in terms of how we're going to do this, I'm thinking we're going to treat the two matches separately. So I think that we will start with the Bulls versus Leinster game. We'll talk about that, and they also have named their side, so it's a bit easier to talk about that. And then after that, we'll go into the Stormers versus Ulster. So we've got that. We've got a poll running there. That was we're going to end that. So people reckon they're going to see a Stormers semi-final. But the next poll I'm going to put in here, because we're talking about the Bulls game, is who will win the first semi-final. And we're going to be voting between Bulls and Leinster. And I want to know what you guys think is going to happen tomorrow night. So I'm going to put that in the chat there. You've got a couple of score predictions there. Pinoff and Vake is going Leinster by 7, Stormers by 2. Rugby Rock records Bulls to win 57-0. I think it's be very impressive if that were to happen. But there we go. So we've got a poll running in the comments in terms of your predictions for tomorrow night. Who's winning tomorrow night? In terms of who is playing tomorrow night, we have got the teams. And we'll start with Leinster, who have named 2 changes. And I'm literally looking at this for the first time, to be honest. So I'm trying to see where that article is. Yeah, there are 2 changes to the starting 15. Johnny Sexton is on the bench, and we've got Jack Conan starting in the number 8 jersey. So that is how Leinster will start tomorrow. So if we go through it, Andrew Porter, Dan Sheehan, Tyke Furlong, Joe McCarthy, James Ryan captaining the side, and then the incredible loose trio of Caelan Doris, Josh van der Fleer, and Jack Conan. this game is won and lost in that pack, isn't it? It really is, and not to undermine how brilliant that backline is, and it really is, but I think that a lot of this game is going to come down to that pack. So I think that's probably the place where the Bulls can try and if they can make inroads into this pack, that's how they're going to win tomorrow night. And I think that the Bulls pack are not a pack of stars, and I think for me, I think Leinster will have the upper hand when it comes to the scrums. But in general, especially games that happen in Europe and stuff, scrum battle doesn't tend to be as maybe as open as it sometimes is down sort of the southern hemisphere. I feel like in the southern hemisphere, especially with the refereeing, we kind of allow for more dominant scrums, and we kind of sort of see more dominant scrums happening. It doesn't seem to happen as much. For example, if you look at the Rugby Championship versus Six Nations scrummage battings tend to be a little bit more closer and tend to be a lot more solid. Whereas I do think you see a bigger discrepancy rather in the southern hemisphere side. So Andrew Porter, Dan Shear, and Ty Furlong, I think, are going to be a very formidable front row for that Bulls front row to try and counter. But I think you look at those at that loose chair, and I think that's where it's a mouth-watering clash in terms of, Josh van der Fleer and Kalen Doris versus Marcel Coetzee and Arno Botha, for example. Jack Conan versus Albert Lowe. Two players who in many ways are quite similar in terms of not too much flair, but they just do everything very well. Jack Conan is the master of consistency. He catches the ball well, he's very good under the high ball. He's very solid ball carrier. He's a very good defensive player. He's not necessarily the most exciting out there, unbelievable to watch from a fun perspective, but he does everything very, very well. And that's why he actually got selected for the British and Irish Lions, because he was so reliable. So having him back in that number 8 jersey is a big boost. Then if you look at the back line, Jamison Gibson Park is a match winner at the end of the day. He is a match winner. When he plays well, Leinster play well, Ireland play well, and he can win matches in terms of the way that he controls the game, in terms of the speed that he can get the backline going. And then Ross Byrne, who starts ahead of Johnny Sexton, was actually named in the URC Dream Team. So it kind of continues to demonstrate the type of depth that this Leinster side have. The two wings are Rory O'Loughlin and Jordan Lamar, but it's that centre pairing of Robbie Henshaw and Gary Ringrose, which is so impressive. Robbie Henshaw, British and Irish Lions, Gary Ringrose has played plenty of tests for Ireland. And I think that versus Cornel Hendricks is going to be quite interesting. And then you got Jimmy O'Brien at full back. So there are a couple of injuries for Leinster. They're definitely not at the strongest they could possibly be, because there are a couple of injuries, but there's just so many players. There's so much. The depth is incredible. So they can still name such an amazing side. But if you're looking at the bench for them, I've lost myself here. It is Sean Cronin, Cian Healy, Marco Alatoa. So the front row just doesn't get any worse when they make the replacements, does it? I mean, Cian Healy has played 248 matches for Leinster. I think Sean Cronin has played over 200 games. Marco Alatoa is a class act. You've got Ross Maloney, you've got Ryan Beard, Luke McGrath, and Johnny Sexton and Kieran Frawley. So there's not much difference between the talent in the starting lineup and off the bench. And that's probably that's why that's the thing with the squad. It's not just because they've got a fantastic starting lineup, they've just got a fantastic squad. So even without the likes of no James Lowe, for example, no Will Connors, no Dave Kearney, no James Tracy, or some of the players that were injured, no Ronan Kelleher, for example, no Nick McCarthy. So there are quite a few injuries in this Leinster squad, but it's still a very impressive side. But yeah, what are we saying if we look at the Bulls side? Where are we at now? Rock says Bulls are restoring their glory. Baby Applon back on the bench for us. Yeah, we're going to go through the Bulls side in a moment. Just look at that team. That's not fair. The Leinster team is disgusting. It's been often vague. Leon says Ambrose, Mornay, and Curtly to be the difference. The Bulls will come from behind 31-30. Baby Rock says Storm's problems us to be that they haven't played rugby for full 80 minutes, but they changed. Last time we played Ulster, we struggled with that problem more. Tim van den Berg says Doris, Van der Fleer, and Conan in one team. Bulls Lucy is going to be tested good and proper, 100%. SF Farmer says, well, Rugby Rock Cricket's Bulls win by 3. SF Farmer says, if the Bulls can play an 80-minute game, they will win. 6 on bench, so Bulls need to take it as an opportunity. Bulls will have to show a bit of heart as Captain Crunch. Alina says, Leinster bench not so good, so when bench comes on, Bulls need to take it. I don't know. I don't look at that bench and think it's a weak bench at all. I think it's an incredible amount of experience. Maybe, they're not necessarily the massive big names you're going to recognize, but if you look at how many games they've played, especially in these sort of situations, they've been there, they've done that, and that's kind of what you need when it comes to playoffs. Rugby Rock says the Bulls mostly play full 80 minutes except for the last 2 matches against the Ospreys and Sharks. Second half, Mornay Stain versus Johnny Sexton. So I'm just going through a couple of comments here. What are your thoughts on Evan Rush? We'll talk about him a bit there. When we talk about the Stormers, they're not joking around with that team. Leinster won by 10 says GHB. I think Bulls did very well to get this far, but Leinster is just another level. Maybe better luck on our side. Yeah, so that's the Leinster side. It's an incredible side. It really is. And the big thing is that once if a god bleeds, he's no longer God, and they did lose to La Rochelle in the Champions Cup final, so they can be beaten. And I think that's the main thing, and I think that's what the Bulls players and coaching staff will need to be sort of driving this week, is the fact that this team can be beaten, has been beaten recently. And it just takes that perfect performance. The question is, can they bring that perfect performance? But this is the Bulls side that will be taking them on tomorrow night. Make it a bit bigger so we can all read it. So if we're looking at the pack, it is Gerard Steenkamp, Jan Kobela, Mornay Smith, Wal Steenkamp, Ruan Nokia, Marcel Coetzee, Arno Buerta, and Ulrich Lowe. First of all, the design work here, you can barely read Marcel Coetzee, so that was probably a bit of a bad moment for them. But I think the biggest issue for me is the front row. I think Johan Kobela is test match quality. I think he wouldn't look out of place playing in for the Springboks. But I think Gerard Steenkamp and Mornay Smith are going to be under the pump. And I think that even some Peter Mantazima and Robert Hunt, when they come on, I think that that's going to be, for me, that's immediately a bit of a red flag area in terms of a difference in quality. Because I think that there's just so much international pedigree in that Leinster side that there isn't necessarily in that Bulls front row. But the rest of the pack, I think, is very good. I think Walstinker and Ruan Nokia will hold their own. I think Ruan Nokia, he's been so consistent throughout the entire campaign, and he's a bit like a Franco Most in terms of having that engine, in terms of giving it the same performance week in, week out. He's a very reliable character because you know exactly what you're going to get out of him. So I think they'll be okay. I think the Lions will be okay. And I think that Marcel Coetzee, Arno Buerta, and Ulrich Lowe, Marcel Coetzee is somebody who people are adamant has to be in the Springbok squad. So, and Arno Buerta and Ulrich Lowe is a future Bok, there's no doubt about that. And I think that Arno Buerta is someone who, when he plays well, is also sort of international pedigree. So I think that the loose trio battle on paper favors Leinster, but I think that this Bulls loose trio, if they pitch up tomorrow, they can do the job. And it's just the small battles, you've got to sit there going, of all the battles throughout the match, where can we make inroads? What are we going to be better at? And I think that they can match them when it comes to the lineouts. I think that in the loose, if they can keep it nice and tight, weather will come into it. There's no reason it can't be a bit closer. And then if we look at the back line, Zach Berger, Chris Smith, Badosh Tambwe, Harold Forster, Cornel Hendricks, David Creel, and Kanan Moody. Very excited to see what Kanan Moody could do. Interesting to see that he did get the backing at fullback. Interesting to see what the fitness is like of Kurtley Arendse, because he has been playing so well the entire campaign. But I think the centre pairing will be interesting. Harold Forster, Cornel Hendricks versus Gary Ringworth and Robbie Henshaw. Cornel Hendricks said that he wasn't worried about them because we've got Harold Forster, so he's definitely backing a centre partner to come good. Badosh Tambwe's been in some scintillating form. But it comes down to the halfback combination, doesn't it? It's all about whether Chris Smith and Zach Berg can rise to the occasion tomorrow in terms of the game management, in terms of the way they marshal the back line, the way that they control the game. And if those two can step up and try and match Gibson Park and Ross Byrne, then it'll go a long way towards them winning. And if you look at the bench, Bisbal du Plessis, so it's exactly the type of player you want to be able to come onto the field in that sort of situation. World Cup winner, he's been in as many pressure situations as you can imagine. So he'll be a massive boost for Jake White and his team coming off the bench in that second half. Sampiru Mantazima, Robert Hunt, two younger, less experienced players. I think Sampiru Mantazima is a very exciting product. I think Robert Hunt's still got quite a long way to go. And then you've got Janko Swanepoel and WJ Steenkamp, and they need to be able to pick up from wherever it goes off, where they left off, and they've got to be able to make a difference. This bench can't just be a like for like pick up where they left off. They've got to actually be able to come on and add something more. And I think if the bench, if it is a close game, it comes down to the bench that can come on and make a difference, come on and change the game as opposed to just carry on. In Bruce Pierre, Moyes, and Curtly Aronson, I think you've got two very experienced players who I think their game management will be key. And then Curtly Aronson, if you're chasing a game, he's X factor, isn't he? He's got that, can create something out of nothing. I think the fact that it is supposed to be wet might count against him, but he's a player you'd like if you're chasing a game at the end of the day. So, yeah, I think it's a very, again, we're looking at a stacked team in terms of global stars, massive names, British and Irish Lions, for example, versus a team which doesn't necessarily have a lot of stars but are playing very well together. And I think that what we're going to see is going to be interesting, is the fact that we're looking at two very different types of teams. But yeah, to go back to some of the comments, Blind Man's Purpose Rail saying Johnny Sexton, Morning staying on bench sounds awesome about teams for week starting 11 for Leinster. Well, first of all, you got to count because it's 15. If you think that's weak, then I don't think you've watched a game of rugby in the last couple of weeks. Bulls don't have any international, so for them to have come this far already is amazing. Bulls should not make any knock one lineouts, should be 100% more. Defense should be as good as the Springboks, even better. What are your thoughts on Evan Roos? Do you think he'll make? Yeah, we'll talk about that when we talk about the Stormers. Josh Finney had to recall for the essay. I think we probably need to get rid of that joke, don't we? Who's better, Evan Roos, Pepsi Buthelezi? I think they're very different players. Leinster will struggle a lot more against the Bulls than they did against the Glasgow Warriors, 100%. Don't think it'll be 31-3 again, but Leinster by 7, it reckons Pinoff and Vake. Ultra Sharpshooter says he heard it's going to rain in Dublin, so that should make it closer. Nokia, the best lock in the country, reckons Newsflash. Who's better, Buthelezi or Evan Roos? I think they're very different players, and I think that they've got different attributes. I think it's different. I never think it's as easy as saying who is better, because they're different. They might be playing in the same position, but I think that they've got. I think Buthelezi probably got a better all-round game. Evan Lewis is a much better ball carrier. He's the best ball carrier in the competition at the moment and in the country at the moment. But I do really rate Buthelezi. I think he's got a very nice all-round game. He's also got that leadership aspect as well. I love the flair that the Bulls use in the game these days. Bulls can maul them and have a far better attacking game than the first game. Tim Van Berg says low to remind people why he's on par with Evan Roos for Buck call-up. Yeah, I think he is under a little bit of pressure, actually, because I think that last weekend we saw two standout games from Evan Roos and a standout game from Pepsi Buthelezi, who admittedly probably did outplay Evan Ulrich Lowe. And I think that, it's a case of, as I said, reminding people in many ways, and maybe standing up and sitting there saying that he was part of the Springbok alignment camp, so he now needs to step up and sit there saying, well, I should still be there, he should still be in that box squad, but he kind of needs to sort of show what he's all about, because he had a bit of a quiet game last weekend. How many Bulls will leave after the season? I've got no idea. Bismarck last 4 minutes before he had a card. That is his problem, though. He does, unfortunately, have a tendency of getting cards. As Bismarck Duplessis, him and Yanni have never had particularly good disciplinary records, but hopefully they can keep it clean tomorrow. Very off topic, but how long does it take for YouTube to open your community tab after reaching over 500 subs? It used to be immediate when it was over 1,000. I know that it has changed, so I'm not sure, to be honest. Not sure if having David Creel at 14 is the right move. Yeah, I mean, it's an interesting move, isn't it? I don't know if I agree with it or not, but defensively, I suppose, and under the high ball, I think it's probably, I mean, at the end of the day, you've got two fullbacks playing there, and I think that's probably a good move. If it's going to be wet and they're going to pepper them with a high ball, having two players who are both very competent under the high ball is probably not the worst idea. And they're two big physical players as well. Hanina says, where's Ron Combrink? It's a good question. As good as Ruoslo and Bootlays have been, Jasper still not getting enough respect on his name as a devastating ball carrier. Yeah, but I think the Jasper Visa ship has sailed, hasn't it? Because he wasn't named in that Springbok. Well, I don't know if it has sailed, but I'm not sure we're actually going to see Jasper Visa this year. And I think that a lot of it comes down to his soft skills. I think he is a devastating ball carrier, but I think that if you look at Dwayne Vermeulen, there's so much more than just being a ball carrier, and that's what was always my issue with Jasper Visa is his soft skills. To be able to catch under the high ball. He tends to knock it on. Sometimes discipline was a bit of an issue last year when he played for the Boks. I think he did get quite a big opportunity last year to really nail down his spot. And apart from that one man of the match performance, I feel like he kind of missed that opportunity a little bit. But there's still plenty of time to obviously make that bid. What happened to Shavino Jacobs? He looked really good in the 2021 season. I don't know, actually. I don't know if he's injured or not. But yeah, I mean, he's somebody that Jake White is also very highly rated. Curtly Arnson, isn't he playing? Yeah, he's playing at full. He's off the bench. Arcus Damer's come back to the Bulls. Arcus Damer must just flip and stay injury-free for a little bit. And we can then talk about him a bit more. But, of course, he will suit the Bulls next season. Him and Jake have JP connection. I think Jasper hasn't been named yet. Yeah, so some of the overseas players, for example, who are still playing haven't been named. But I did read something that they reckon that he could very well not be named at all. Interesting, because I think that we need a potential 8-man backup. Quagga Smith, for example, has offered something quite different last season. I think we started to actually understand what he can offer, and that there is a certain amount of merit in having someone who's a bit smaller and a bit more mobile around the park, in terms of just going to that big bulky forward. So I think that Quagga Smith was quite an interesting experiment last year, especially if you were thinking that now we're going to be bringing Pieter-Steph du Toit back, who's obviously a much bigger player, much bit more physical, for example, and can maybe sort of do that Dwayne Vermeulen role, whereas Quagga Smith could do a bit of a different role, and they can all kind of sort of complement each other. So that's an interesting dynamic in terms of how we're going to arrange all these forwards moving forward from a box point of view. Josh van der Fleer ran over David Krill in the first game he played them, so hopefully Kane Moody can defend better. Jake's had a head neck injury. Well, there we go. What happened to Pieter-Steph du Toit? He's in Japan. Bulls will need to ensure slow ball for Leinster if they're going to have hope in the game. Can't be seeing 2 second racks like Glasgow allowed them. Yeah, I think the breakdown's going to be an interesting battle, and I think that if the Bulls don't manage to slow the ball with the breakdown and give themselves time to organise their defence, it could get quite ugly quite quickly. And the Leinster playing at home are going to want to speed up that breakdown. They're going to want to have a go at the Bulls as many times as possible and try and wear them down. So it comes down to it needs to be an arm wrestle at the end of the day. If there isn't an arm wrestle, then you just feel that Leinster will take it, don't you? Were there any cards in the quarterfinals? Yes, there was. I can remember putting up a yellow card. I'm trying to remember who it was for, though. But I'm trying to think of who got a yellow card. It was a high tackle. I think it was against I think it was on Evan Roos by Edinburgh number 8. It was Magnus Bradbury, I think, got a yellow card. But it's hard for me to believe Moore is only 1 year older than Sexton. Yeah, that's an interesting point. How many players do you reckon are worth the thought of putting a Springbok jersey on that hasn't yet? I think our conversation is just going to take too long, to be honest. But that's how those two teams do line up. So let's go finish our poll, and then we can move on to onto the Stormers game. So in terms of the poll that we had run there, we reckon after 48 votes, 60% of people reckon that the Bulls will win the first semi-final, and 39% reckon that Leinster will win. So that's interesting. I'll be very surprised if that were to come true. The Bulls go, at the end of the day, though, Bulls go in tomorrow with absolutely nothing to lose. And when you've got nothing to lose, everything to gain, anything can happen. You score first, for example, or you stay into the game. The longer the game goes on, and the longer it takes for Bulls to be put to bed, the more it starts to favour them. If you're sitting there with 20 points to 18 with 15 minutes to go, Bulls are going to sit there going, well, shit, maybe they're not as good as we all thought, and we can actually win them. It's about that belief. and that belief will last as long as they're still in the game. So the longer they stay in the game, the more it favors the Bulls. From a Leinster point of view, you want to put them away, early. You want to run in 2-3 tries in the first 20-25 minutes and say, you don't have a chance, we're too good, you're done. So, yeah, that's what needs to happen from a Leinster perspective. The opposite needs to happen from a Bulls perspective. They can't be blown away. If they're blown away, they're not going to win. Obviously. But, yeah, so it should be interesting, though. So we'll be live tomorrow night. We're going to try and get some pre-match stuff going as well. So the stream will start a bit earlier with some pre-match stuff. We actually might do a recap of this chat during that. As well as including our preview, and we could do might do a couple of stats things and stuff. So, yeah, join us tomorrow night. It should be a lot of fun. We're gonna try and make the stream as big as possible. So, as I said, right now after this stream, it's actually gonna take you to the thing. Go and turn your reminders on. Subscribe to the channel. Also, when you subscribe to the channel, turn your notifications on so that you get a little notification whenever we do these live shows. Some people have said they've missed them. So you can just turn your notifications on so that you do not miss these live shows. If you make a Springbok team out of URC players, would you select Mask with Sia and Vince Tuka as a flank combination? Yeah, I don't see why not. Probably were the two standout flanks for me in the South African URC teams. If the Bulls win, they are the Kings of Europe. I think the Bulls will do us proud, but a W, I don't know. Diamond has been really impressive. I'm going to Greenpoint tomorrow to watch the game. Saturday, flying all the way down from Durban. I'll enjoy that. But yeah, let's move on to Stormers versus Ulster. So let's get that poll going. Right, so neither of these sides actually have been released just yet. So it makes it a little bit difficult to preview it properly. But if we look at the team from last weekend, for example, I don't think the Bulls are going to change too much. I mean, the Stormers are going to change too much, but they obviously need an inside center. And for all intents and purposes, it does sound like Jean de Jong will be drafted into inside center or and starts this weekend. All sort of signs point to him being the one that they are going to try and back. And I think that in terms of the experience he has, you couldn't ask for more. He's not going to be Damien Willemse. And I felt sorry for Rick Pretorius. They are in a bit of an injury crisis there, but Jean de Jong has been there, done that, and I think that in many ways he's probably the right decision for this weekend because he's not going to get blown away by the occasion. So I think he's going to be an interesting inclusion. It also does sound like Sasha Ngomazulu is going to be included again, and so I think that would then mean that they're going to go with a 6-2 split once again and have him as the utility back. And I, for one, was very impressed with Ngomazulu last weekend. I mean, I don't think he blew everybody away and we sat there going, this kid's the next big thing. But what I think I said on Twitter, was that he did not look out of place. And I think that was important for a player playing his first professional game in this competition for the Stormers in a quarterfinal, in a position that he doesn't usually play, far earlier than we thought it was going to be. He did not look out of place at all. And I think that's very exciting. He has been named in the SA Under-20 squad, so he will have a bit more opportunity to play at flower half, which is more of his favourite position in the coming weeks. But I think that he's a very exciting talent, and I'm interested to see how he gets on this weekend. Apart from that, I don't think we're going to see too many changes, really. From an injury perspective, haven't had too many issues there, so I don't think too many changes need to be made. I think the pack will stay largely the same. And I like to see another good game from Herschel Yankees. I think if Herschel Yankees and Martin Liemark really play well, as well as Watchalong, if the weather plays ball, I don't know what the weather's looking like. Let's hope it keeps it nice and wet. Saturday, yeah, it looks very dry. It looks like it's going to be quite warm, actually. They're playing at 3 o'clock, so it should be about 21, 22 degrees, which will play in Stormers in the hands, because they're more sort of suited to the warmer weather. But Yeah, what are we saying with this game? Yeah. So is Stormers team out now? So it's not out yet. Now Stormers are playing this weekend. How good is it, the Sevens team with Leibach, Hendrickson? No. Yeah, I think that Commonwealth side looks proper. Can Vincent Stukas play for Vauxhall? There's something wrong with his paper. As far as I know, he still hasn't gotten his South African citizenship, so I don't think he's eligible yet. Captain Crunch says, I have a feeling the Stormers are going to lose against Ulster. They looked so sloppy against Edinburgh. I'd agree in the first half. I thought the second half they looked a lot better. But they can't afford to start like that against Ulster. They need to start well. If the Stormers win the air scrums, hopefully the lineouts and the general mini battles in the field, I can see them winning. What sort of injury does Damien Willemse have? Is it long term? It looks like he's going to rule him out of Wales. Looks like he might be back for the Rugby Championship. I think it's a wrist injury last time I checked. He was running water and stuff like that, so he's can run around and stuff. I think it is a wrist injury. My paper space says, my only problem with the Stormers is the playoff history. Always gotten talent, just can't finish the season on a high. There is always sort of that weird sort of omen sitting around over them, the fact that they don't play well in playoffs. Stormers playing great stuff, but in the quarterfinal they're a bit average. Rugby Rockers going Weathers and Stormers favourite. Grant's why I said I thought Herschel had his best game this season, and Monty's kicking out goals still very dodgy. Yeah, I also thought that Herschel looked the best that I'd seen him last weekend. I thought his service was just so crisp, and that's what we need to see from him, because that was sometimes the issue with him. And sometimes he was very good sniping around, very good in the loose, very good at taking half chances, but sometimes his core functions as a scrum half, his box kicking game, his game management, his passing can sometimes let him down. But last week I thought he looked very, very slick. And hopefully we'll see more of that today. Predators game starts so late, 4:30. I mean, actually, I think that suits me perfectly. Honest, I start work at 4, so I can put that on the background. Newsflash saying, please with Ulster. We started well against Ulster last time we played. Greece 3:30, not 4. Leibach is the top point scorer in the URC. He had the best kicking stats. I mean, he did also miss a really, really straightforward conversion last weekend. He's a strange player when it comes to his goal kicking, because he can sometimes have some very good days and some very poor days. So maybe from a percentage wise he's all right, but he's just got that miss in him, doesn't he? It's a bit like Andre Pollard, I suppose, but Andre Pollard actually, even his stats aren't particularly great. But he has had some fantastic days off the tee. Rugby Rocks is also a playoff problem with the Lions in the past when they get into finals. Yeah, but I mean, let's not go there. I'd rather not be brought down. Stormers by 2. Akers, Spinoff and Vague. Ulster Def have a bone to pick over the TMO call last time. Yeah, true. When will the Stormers team be announced? Tomorrow, I think it's about 11:30-ish. We'll try at the press conference as well. We'll have Jake White's press conference up in the next couple of hours. So that'll be up to date as well. And then we'll have a official Stormers versus Leinster preview out today, as well as how to watch. So right now, if you're watching right now, I'm going to put the link in there in the description now. Get yourself ExpressVPN, because we're going to be doing a video later. And you can actually watch these games for free this weekend if you have ExpressVPN. I'm going to do a video that shows you how to do it, because they are being shown on some free-to-air networks, but not within South Africa. So I don't know where you guys live, but it is going to be shown on free-to-air. So with ExpressVPN, you can then watch these games without having to be on a paid broadcaster, which is quite cool. But I will do a video later on how to do that. Contender says, the inside center problem with me fixed with 9 Yankees, 10 Goma Zulu, 12 Nile, 13 Galant, 11 Zas, 4 Sinat, 15 Leibach. I mean, Contender, you've always had some very interesting selections. That's not the worst one. I think is merited, but I just don't think that right now I would be changing so much for a semi-final. I've always wanted to see Galant at 13. I think it would be exciting, but I just wouldn't do it for this weekend and leave my Leibach at fly half when he's playing so well. Disappointing there are no lines and the players in the box setup. Yeah, I would have liked to have seen Jordan Hendricks at training with them, even if he wasn't going to make the final squad. I think that he he's going to be a Springbok one day, so let him train with them for now, especially when you need a couple of players. Let him learn from Alton Yankees. You know what the Alton Yankees situation is going to be. Let him work with these players. Which Lions players would you have in the squad besides Vincent Tuka? Yeah, I mean, it's Vincent. Vincent, I think if it's South African, would have been there anyway. I said I would like to see me, Jordan training with them for experience-wise, even if he doesn't make the final squad, but for preparation-wise, I don't see the harm. Same as Carlos Sardi, actually. I would have had him in there and just said, right, because I think Carlos Sardi has to be the next in line after the current tight heads with how well he scrummages. So for preparation sort of point of view, I don't see why you wouldn't have. I just don't understand where, given the fact that you don't have a full squad, you've got 17 players. Why not add, and you're based in Pretoria, why not have Carly Sardi, Vincent Suka, for example, could even be training with them, even though he doesn't qualify to play for the Springboks. I don't see why he can't be training there. Jordan Hendricks, bring a couple of Lions players who you believe could potentially be Springboks and let them help you guys train. So Stevie should make a subreddit. Interesting idea, actually. I've never thought about doing a subreddit. How many people here are on Reddit? Let me know if you guys would be interested in that, and we can look at doing it. We started a Discord, and then we didn't have time to maintain it. Although I think I could have an idea for that. Yeah, I just need to find out the right sort of platforms that we really want to have a go with. And then we'll start doing it properly. Morning from the Berg. Yeah, I think he's somebody else who I think if he plays like he did this season for a couple of more seasons, he could also be in the discussion. Nell's good at 13. He's been good this week. Guido, morning from the Berg. Yeah, so I think that's the other one we're talking about. Nell's quality about material. Well, he has been in the box squad before. Can't believe Khalan's still not been chosen. Well, we wait and see, don't we? Because Jacques Ninobar definitely dodged that question when he was asked about it yesterday. Stephen Kitsov is fantastic at fly half. I mean, I'm not opposed. I just don't think he's going to be as good as Trevor Nyakane would be at fly half. But, if you want to put the heavies there, I could see Stephen Kitsov more in inside centre. Trevor, for me, has to be a fly half candidate. He's so sulky, and he'd be fantastic off the tee. And, Esther Hazen, for example, says that he always runs at the 10. And I don't think he would run at the 10 if he had Trevor Nyakane at the 10. I don't think Esther Hazen would run at him, I think we should do that. I think we should do a front row 15. Take all the front rows from all the South African front rowers and make a 15 about where they would play. But who would Saudi replace? Malherbe's first choice, then Thomas Totoy. Yeah, there's also Trevor, obviously, as a swing prop, and there's also Wilco Lowe, for example. We've got so many blooming tight heads. But yeah, I think if Malherbe were to get injured, I think that Sardi's a very similar type player in terms of just being a tremendous physical scrummager and pretty solid in defense. Still waiting for Ross Experiment to be on the Lions. Wouldn't mind him. I wouldn't mind him, although we have brought Gianni Lombard back, so I'm interested to see how we're going to get him into the side as well. Similani's been quiet this season. Is he injured? He's not injured. The Lions just haven't used it. We haven't used him, and it's driving me up the wall. Grant's back in the subreddit, so maybe we'll have a look into that. Burger Undal, Morning van den Berg, Springboks then, obviously with Vincent, of course. Burger Undal might have, he had a good season, to be fair to him. Wasn't always his biggest fan, but he has proved me wrong. You're going to miss him. If the Sharks take one, Tuka, take the other as well. He may become better than the other. JC Creel was selected for the Bulls with Dan's success. No. We need Emmanuel. We need him. You don't get to take both. We're bad enough that we're losing one. Am I crazy for thinking Khaleesi would be better off playing 8? Nah, I don't really think so. Look, I think Khaleesi's an interesting one because he doesn't play. I mean, he wears the 6 for the Springboks, but that's not really the role he plays. But to be fair, I don't think the Springboks numbers have got anything to do with where they actually end up playing. I think it's quite it's more just sort of it's quite a dynamic setup. I think is the word I'm looking for. Does the channel have a Discord? We do. We don't. Not much is going on it, but yeah, I need to. I think the biggest thing is that I need some moderators and some admins to help out. So if you'd be interested, I'm sure my email address is gonna jump on the bottom here. If you guys would be keen in helping with the subreddit and helping with maybe the Discord server and stuff like that, give me a shout because I can't. That's my problem is that I don't always have the time. So there's my email coming up now. Stephen at foreversports.net. If you guys are interested in maybe becoming moderators in the Discord server or helping with the subreddit, give me a shout and we can look at getting that going, or doing that. It's been a long day. The issue just comes with me not being able to maintain it properly, and I feel that's not fair on anyone. We'll be posting some of your videos on Rugby Union. Yeah, well, you guys have to post, because if I post myself, then that's self-promotion and I get banned. Back in the day, Brock Harris was first receiver more than Peter Grant. I mean, why not? Wouldn't you? Well, who about at wing? Yeah, I think we must do this. I think next week we're gonna have a live show and we're gonna pick a full 15 with front rows. I think it's gonna be a lot of fun. Actually, I'm actually gonna pencil that in right now. Where's a piece of paper? I'm gonna write that down. France, where we at? My hope at wing. Box should have a day where they allow fans to watch them train in PTA, just like the All Blacks. I actually might go watch them train and do a bit of videoing in the next week or two. France Mahoob will be the ultimate crash ball 12. Sharks are great players, but they didn't perform well this season. Do you think the problem is coaching? I do think they need, I won't say a new coach, but I think they need to relook at their coaching and their structures a bit. I think Neil Powell will help out a lot with that, though. I think the Box are wasting attacking talent. South Africa is blessed with so much X factor. Emmanuel must stay at the Lions and he'll play every game. If fit to Sharks, he has to compete with Notch and Buthelezi. Well, I think Notch should come to the Lions as well. Marvin Ory at scrum half and Herschel Yankees at lock. Brock Harris at 11 and Franz Mahoob at 14. Just pace, boys. Fun fact, the tremendous Thomas Toy is also a swing prop as he played loose for the Box as well as tight for the Box. 2 swing props, double trouble for the opposition and specialists. Hey guys, 54 people watching. Let's give Steve 54 likes. I agree. What exactly is the administration issues that the West Province are having? I know they are looking for investors. Well, I mean, MVM Holdings wanted to take them and they said no. Crotswart says disappointed contender, 2 streams now, no crazy team selections. It'll come. With Saudi, Etzebeth and others going to Durban, looks like they're assembling the Avengers. I mean, yeah, you're not far off, are you? What is your subreddit? We don't have one yet, but from the sounds of it, people would be keen to get one going. So, yeah, as I said, if anybody's interested in helping out, give me a shout in the mail and we can maybe get that going. Stormers seriously have a problem with the lineouts. Maybe Victor Matfield must come back to rugby and play lock for the Stormers. Asnat and Cloud Kanye is my dream 9. Yeah, I could back that. I was thinking more full back. But look, that guy's got good hands. For all that he is large, man's got good hands. It's not the lock that's the problem, though. We need a new 2. Yeah, well, you're getting Joseph Dweber if you're talking about the Stormers. So bugger you, because we should have been getting Joseph Dweber. But I don't know why the Bulls team is still there. But so we've had, well, more votes and a bit more dominant. 68% people reckon that the Stormers will take the second semi-final, or first semi-final, second semi-final. 84% of you guys reckon that they will beat Ulster on Saturday, and I hope they do. I really do. And we need to have at least one South African team in the final. It'll be a bit boring if it's a Leinster Ulster affair. As I said, no teams being announced yet, but Dwayne Vermeulen is set to play for Ulster, so that'll be quite interesting to see him playing in a massive game in Cape Town against his former fans. And I think Ulster last weekend were tremendous. The question is, can they produce that sort of level of performance twice? You know, did they peak too early? Because sometimes teams do that. And in many ways, maybe the Stormers not playing as well last week could actually help them, because maybe it's a bit of a wake-up call, you know, that they can't afford to start that poorly. You know, if I was Don Dobson, I'll tell them simply and just say, chaps, you start like that next weekend, we're going home. You know, which is not particularly far when you consider that they're playing at home. But that's the reality. If they don't start well, they're out of the competition. If they start well, they could be playing in the first ever URC, or they're calling it the grand final. So that has got to be a very big focus for them. I think it's just starting well, because that Ulster side is very underrated. I mean, you look at last weekend, and it was Andrew Warwick, Rob Herring, Tom O'Toole, Adam O'Connor, Ian Henderson, Marcus Rea, Nick Timoney, Dwayne Vermeulen, John Cooney, Billy Burns, Ethan McElroy, Stuart McCloskey, James Hume, Rob Ballacoon, Stuart Moore. That's a very good side. And even off the bench, the likes of Eric O'Sullivan, Nathan Doak, I'm a big fan of. Kieran Treadwell's a very good player. Matty Rea is a very good player. They've got a hell of a good squad. In fact, I think in many ways it's very underrated, because we get so caught up in Leinster and to a certain degree Munster, that we come up against by Ulster. Back the Stirs. Anyway, we're gonna wrap it up there. Grant Swarovski said, keep your dirty, filthy paws off of Dweber. Well, as far as I'm concerned, he'll probably be flying into Johannesburg en route. So maybe I'll be waiting for him at the airport, cut up his passport and keep him in Johannesburg. I mean, if that's what has to be done, it has to be done. Newsflash, Ulster for the win. Not Jeremy Collis go Storms for the win by 5. Go and watch the Baby Gurus fan requested video. Springboks versus Uruguay. There'll be really crazy selections, even with Khaleesi. Guys come on, Oxenshare and Bongi Manambi are clearly wingers with their wheels they got. I reckon you probably have Oxen and Tuka and Kunu as your 2 wings. Bongi for me, probably like an outside centre. Or 8th man, actually. I reckon Bongi an 8th man. We'll probably have to pick the least scrummaging props as the front row. So maybe in fact Tuka actually might be in the in the front row just because he's one of the least scrummaging based props that we've got. Baby Rock says, Stephen, think back to last year where the Lions won in Cape Town against Stormers 37-19 and then Stormers murdered Lions at Park a few weeks later. Yeah, and we absolutely, look, we did lose pretty heavily up here, but I did remember that Cape Town game because I still don't think we've seen the Lions play as well as that day. But so please do smash like on the video on the way out. Please do subscribe if you are new. We'll be live tomorrow night for the semi-final. We'll be live on Saturday for the next semi-final. It's going to be a lot of fun this weekend. Then next weekend, we've got the grand final. Weekend after, we've got Currie Cup final. Weekend after that, we've got Springbok Rugby. So every single weekend now are massive, massive games. These shows are going to be coming a lot more. We're going to be having a bit more of a settled schedule. That'll hopefully be published on Monday every week. And then we'll try and stick to it as best we can. And then, we're going to just try and start building this community. So I'll look into the subreddit. Again, as I said, if you are interested in helping out, please go and please email me and stuff like that so we can get all that going, because anything where we can try and build this community more than just the live shows, I would be really, really happy to do that and very excited to do that. So let's look into it. It's a good suggestion they got. I think we'll do that once we get onto that. But people, have a fantastic day. We'll see you guys all tomorrow night. Get your beers ready, get your drinks purchased so that we can have a fantastic evening tomorrow night and then a fantastic day on Saturday. Apart from that, keep well, and I'll see you guys all. Hello everybody and welcome to Forever Rugby on Forever Sport. And today we're going to be talking about how to watch the URC semi-finals for free on a free-to-air broadcaster. As we reach the business end of the URC, you don't want to miss a moment. You never want to miss a moment. And especially when we want you to watch with us on our watch-alongs. We are not trying to be an alternative. It's a watch-along, which means that you must watch while we watch and we can chat about the game together. That's the whole point of the Forever Sports watch-alongs. And so this sort of video is a bit of a demonstration as to how you can watch the matches that will be played this weekend. Now, first things first, unless you are in a territory where your free-to-air network is broadcasting it, it can never be completely free. However, you can access free-to-air networks through the use of a virtual private network or a VPN. And we recommend using ExpressVPN, as that has been tried and tested by us and definitely does work. And as a result, through ExpressVPN, you will be able to watch both the Stormers versus Ulster as well as Bulls versus Leinster on a free-to-air network where you don't have to sign up, you don't have to have any credit card details, anything like that. You don't have to buy like a URC package or whatever, and you'll be able to watch those matches this weekend on a free-to-air broadcaster. So in terms of how you do it and what the options are, there are plenty of paid broadcasters, and every territory will have their paid broadcaster. Whether it's Premier Sports, Super Sport, for example, in South Africa, Mediaset, I think it is in Italy. There are so many different channels, but there will be a broadcaster for every territory. And if you don't have an official broadcaster, you can then watch the match on URC TV. And I think a single match game is about $12, I think it is around there. And that's per match, basically. So it makes a lot more sense to get ExpressVPN and then watch these matches on free-to-air broadcast. So in terms of what you have to do, we'll bring it up. Once you install, so we've got a link down in the comments to VPN, and we've got a special offer for you guys as well to make it as cost-effective as possible. So once you install ExpressVPN, you'll come up to this thing over here, and you need to select your location. So we are going to be selecting Ireland because the Irish free-to-air broadcasts are the ones showing it this weekend. So you can see right now we're not currently connected. Now, in terms of where they're being broadcast, you see these will. If you go to this page, it's just the match center on the URC website. If you go to this page, then that will show you exactly where they're being broadcast, and it'll show you where you're being broadcast in territory. So, for example, if we were to, so I'm currently now on South African server, so I were to refresh that, it'll come up with Supersport because that is the South African broadcaster. Now, as soon as I go and click on the on button for ExpressVPN, this suddenly geolocates my device in Ireland, in inverted commas, which means as soon as we refresh this, suddenly these are the Irish broadcasters. Now, TG4 and RTE are both free-to-air broadcasters. Now, full warning, TG4 is an Irish language broadcaster, which means that the commentary will not be in English for the Leinster versus Bulls game. However, it still will be free to watch. You can still watch all the action. So, in that case, what I recommend doing is turn that game on, mute the commentary if you don't want to listen to the Irish commentary, put on a Watchalong next to you, and we'll take you through it. And if you just coordinate, we'll have our clock, and if you just coordinate the clock, we'll be reacting and talking about exactly what's happening as it does happen, which is a lot of fun. Now, Saturday, for example, on RTE, that is English language. So, the moment you see it says something went wrong because you weren't connected to our Irish server. So, as soon as we connect to our Irish server, I'm not logged in, as you can see, or anything like that. There's no login. There is a login for S4C, but you don't have to put any credit card details, anything like that. Here we are. This is live on RTE 1, 2, news, and the kids channel. And as soon as you are on with the Irish over here, as you can see there, bang, you can watch it live. And it's that easy. It is literally that easy. That's all you have to do. And both games, as I said, will be on these free-to-air networks, so you don't have to pay any subscription fee or anything. All you need is ExpressVPN. So make sure you go and download that, and you'll be able to watch all the action. And at this stage, I think it's pretty much confirmed that they will also be on the final will also be on a free-to-air network next week. Be one of them. I don't know which one it will be, but it will be on a free-to-air network, so we'll be able to tell you where to watch it. But that's why I recommend getting ExpressVPN. We'll be doing the same sort of videos for the Springboks versus Wales series, and just telling you how to watch rugby in the most cost-effective way. And ExpressVPN really is a fantastic way to watch rugby all over the world. I used to watch Top 14 occasionally, as well as Premiership Rugby, which is not being shown here. As well as you can also watch, for example, Major League Rugby and stuff. And if you do have a subscription to a paid service and you are traveling, for example, you can then go back to the server of the country in which you have that paid service and be able to access it. So, for example, if I have a SuperSport subscription, I can then go to England, for example, use VPN to make my device geolocated into South Africa, and I can still watch my SuperSport. So it really is a very useful tool. Link is down in the description. Please let me know who you're supporting this weekend. Please do smash like on the video and subscribe to the channel as well. Thank you very much for watching. My name is Steven, and I'll chat to you soon. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Forever Rugby on Forever Sports. It is semi-final time, ladies and gentlemen. And it all comes down to 4 teams. Tonight, we're talking about 2 teams. We're talking about the Bulls. We're talking about Leinster. We're talking about Jake White versus Leo Cullen. We're talking about it all coming down to the next 80 minutes for who will book their spot in the URC Grand Final, as they are calling it, which is very, very exciting. First of all, thank you all for jumping in and joining me and welcoming to the new look studio. Let me know what you think. It's a bit of a mold of the old studio and the new studio. We still have certain elements which are completely automated, which will help us make sure that the scoreboard and stuff is right. But yeah, we thought we'd go with a bit of the old look as well. So let me know what you think of the studio itself and stuff like that. And you'll see more when we get to the game itself in terms of what we have in store for you. But the important thing is to start smashing that like button, to start getting your score predictions down in the comments, and let's start getting ready for a match that kicks off in 11 minutes. Ah. So let me know who's in the comments here. Who's watching from where? How are we feeling? What's the general chat? What's the general consensus? Do the Bulls have a chance? Don't they have a chance? What are we thinking? We're going to go through the lineups very shortly and stuff like that, and then we will really sort of get into it. And kickoff is in about 11 minutes time. Over in the RDS arena, it looks like an absolute cracker of a day. By the way, the sun is out. It looks very warm. Already seen quite a few players breathing quite deeply there in the Leinster side, so I think it's going to be quite a tough game from a playing perspective. I think it does look very, very warm, which in many ways, I suppose, it kind of plays into the Bulls' hands because they're a side at altitude. In theory, they should have the fitness, they should have the means to deal with this sort of weather. I mean, this is what we train with. I mean, you train in Pretoria in 30, 35 degree heat. Surely, when it comes to warm conditions, you should be far more accustomed to it than the Irish players should be. But yeah, jump in the comments. Let me know what you're watching. So cool to see the conversation was going before I got here. Yeah, so you want to start something a bit new because we always thought that some people do miss the previous chats and stuff like that. They miss the official previews and stuff like that. So yeah, we thought we'd just do a little bit more of a sort of an extended cover and stuff like that. And if you haven't watched it, for example, get you an opportunity to sort of look at the discussions we had going into this, give you a bit of perspective into the game and stuff, and then we will go live like this 10 minutes before the show itself, and then we can get the conversation going. I thought it was quite a nice precursor to sort of build into it, and we'll look to do the same thing tomorrow. Stormers versus Ulster in Cape Town. So I mean, look, at this stage we could have 2 South African teams in the final. We could have 1 South African team in the final. We could have none or no South African teams in the final. So all the possibilities are out there. Let's hope for at least one side. I think it'll be nice if we can get one South African side into this final, because I think that we're making waves in many ways in our debut season in Europe. And if you can try and get to a final, for example, even if you don't necessarily win the competition, I think that's the perfect first start. So to already have 50% of the semi-finals being represented by South African sides, I think that's a pretty big statement in itself. But I see that Sean O'Farrell's is in the comments here. Matthew Dixon's here, as well as Louis, as well as Jonathan. So Sean O'Farrell says, I back my Leinster lads. Matthew Dixon says, my money is on the Welsh team. Oh, wait. Sean O'Farrell reckons Leinster by 7. Louis going, if Bulls and Stormers win, will Stormers go up Bulls or... Sorry, Stormers... And if Bulls and Stormers win, will Stormers go up to Bulls or Bulls down to Stormers? Bulls down to Stormers. Bulls cannot host the final. And it doesn't matter what happens, the Bulls came 4th, so they cannot host the final because the top 3 are all in the semis. So it'll either be at Leinster, it'll be at Ulster, or it'll be in Cape Town at Stormers. So Bulls, unfortunately, cannot host the final at all. Jonathan says Leinster will win, and I think by 18. Matthew says I'm betting a Leinster versus Ulster final. Leinster to win by 8. Well, there we go. Get your score predictions down in the comments below. Let me know who you're supporting, by the way. We've got a poll running in the comments. Almost at 300 votes, and I'm very interested to see what the results are going to be, because it looks like a landslide victory, but not for the team which I would have, or the team that I'm backing rather. Jaden's going Leinster by 12. So nobody yet so far in the comments going Bulls, and yet the poll seems to be saying something very different. I think it's going to be a very interesting game. But in terms of what we can expect, and let's go through the side, shall we? Let me fix my ticker as well, which is coming up with no resource. I mean, that's not helping anybody, is it? All right, there we go. A bit of rugby news going for you at the bottom there. And I'm trying to put up the teams here. Let's go through the 2 teams, and there are 2 very impressive outfits. Very much a team of stars versus a team that has just gelled well together, and a team of very solid players who I think are very well drilled. And that's kind of the thing when it comes to a Jake White side, isn't it? Is that everyone's got a role, everybody knows their role, and everybody plays their role very, very well. So if we look at the lineups, we'll start with Leinster. In the front row, Andrew Porter, Dan Sheehan, and Tyke Furlong. I mean, 2 world-class props, international quality. Next to somebody like Dan Sheehan, to have somebody like Sean Cronin, Cian Healy, even Michael Alatoa coming off the bench, not even just the front and the starting front 3, but the 6 front rowers for Leinster are just everything you'd want in a playoff match in terms of class, experience, BMT. They've all been there. They've done that. They are British and Irish Lions amongst these players. They've played in South Africa last year as part of the British and Irish Lions. So there's so much experience. In the second row, it's Joe McCarthy and James Ryan, who captains the side. Caelan Doris is joined with Josh van der Fleer and Jack Conan. Josh van der Fleer is in tremendous form at the moment. Very much the forward to watch, probably in the matches. I think he versus Master Gutsia, probably the most tantalizing battle to look out for, because they're two players in red hot form. And then Jack Conan, who is Mr. Consistency. He just doesn't necessarily make mistakes. He does everything very, very well. That's why Warren Gatton rates him so highly, actually, because he just doesn't tend to make mistakes. So you're going to get a very solid shift out of him tonight. And then if you look at the back line, Jamison Gibson Park, New Zealand born scrum half, and very much New Zealandish when the way he plays. Very much off the cuff, very exciting, very attack orientated, very quick. And he partners Ross Byrne, who is ahead of Johnny Sexton. Johnny Sexton not 100% fully fit, I don't think. So also, I think it helps the fact that Ross Byrne's a quality operator. He made the URC Dream Team, and yet you've got Johnny Sexton, one of the best fly halves of all time, coming off the bench. So it's a pretty incredible team. And then you've got Rory O'Loughlin, Jordan Lamar, Robbie Henshaw, Gary Ringrose, and Jimmy O'Brien. Gary Ringrose and Robbie Henshaw is the Irish centre combination. Sometimes Bundyaki plays as well, but those two, Gary Ringrose played over 100 games for Leinster. Robbie Henshaw was a British and Irish Lion. It doesn't get much better. You couldn't ask for much more when a centre pairing. Then the replacements for Leinster: Sean Cronin, Cian Healy, Michael Alatoa, Ross Maloney, Ryan Beard, Luke McGrath, Johnny Sexton, Kieran Frawley. Johnny Sexton, Luke McGrath, with well over 300 caps between them. And the sad thing is, for other teams, is that this Leinster side actually can get better. There are a couple of players that are missing due to injuries, so it can get a bit better, but yeah, not a hell of a lot better. If we look at the Bulls side, it's Gerard Steenekamp, Johan Kobbelaar, Mornay Smith. I feel like that's going to be the weak link for them. I think that I struggle to see how that front row is really going to be able to match that Leinster front row. If they can, it'll go a long way towards them managing to get a result. But yeah, I think that for me is a bit of a weak link for the Bulls. The second row, whilst in Ruan Nokia, I think they'll hold their own. I think Ruan Nokia has been, he one of the most consistent performers across the entire tournament. He got the Ironman Award for playing the most minutes. He is like a Franco Mostert reincarnate in terms of just that diesel engine that just keeps going and never really falters. And whilst Steenkamp, to give him his credit, has actually formed a really good partnership with him, and they're probably the informed lock combination because they play so often together. So I think they'll be okay. And then this loose chair battle, which has to be very interesting. Marcel Coetzee versus Josh van der Fleer, Caelan Doris versus Arno Buerta, Ulrich Lowe versus Jack Conan. That's a tantalizing battle. Ulrich Lowe, very much on the back of what was maybe an off game for him last week, needs to have a good game this week. I think that Pepsi Buthelezi and Evan Roos both were standout performers, and Ulrich Lowe maybe had a bit of an off game, so he'll want to come back strongly and try and prove why he was involved in Springbok training camps. You then got Zach Berger, Chris Smith. Massive games for those two, especially something like Zach Berger, who a little over a year ago was playing for the Griquas, is now starting for the Bulls in a URC semi-final. Chris Smith as well preferred ahead of Mornay Steyn. They have backed him as the URC fly half throughout the competition, and they're now saying, well, you got the job done last weekend to the point that Mornay Steyn didn't even come on, so we'll back you again this weekend. Madosh Tamwe, David Creel, Kane Moody. Not a lot of experience between the three of them. Madosh Tamwe definitely the more experienced operator of the three, but a lot of X factor there. And I think Kane Moody is somebody who doesn't seem to shy away from a challenge. I think the bigger the occasion, I think the better he plays, and just looks so mature for his years. And then Cornel Hendricks, Harold Forster. Cornel Hendricks is very much backing Harold Forster in that centre battle, and then Cornel Hendricks has been one of South Africa's best players in the last 18 months. Off the bench, Bismarck du Plessis is the experience amongst two very young players in their career in Sampiero Mantinzima and Robert Hunt. You then got Janko Swanepoel, WJ Steenkamp, also not the oldest, the most experienced forwards. And Bruce Pierre Mornay Steyn, that's more the experience that we're looking for. And then a very exciting name in Kurtley Arendse coming off the bench as well. Basically, they decided not to start Kurtley Arendse because they said that they've found throughout the season that when they've rushed players back, they sometimes tended to start too slowly and stuff like that. So, yeah, let's get some of the comments and stuff again. See who else has joined us. Right. Logan's going Buller. Louis going Bulls by 2. Last minute try. Interesting prediction. All we want is the Bulls to give it their best, and you may never know. Bulls by 21, reckons Logan. That's a huge call. So, Joel's reckoning Bulls 12. Leinster 14. Matthew Dixon reckons the Twitter boss voting for Bulls. Brian Pepper Spray says Pumas, they finally made the playoffs in the Currie Cup Premier Division. Sharks, on the other hand, man, neither the URC and Currie Cup coach can control Bockful Sharks. Vic says, for rating purposes, I prefer Stormers versus Leinster final. I think that could break URC records. Not a bad shout. People disrespecting Bulls. Well, people are backing the Bulls in the polls. So Louis reckons Nokia will score the last minute try. Stephen, I wish I had your merch. Yeah, we need to get our merch going again. We had our shop going, and yeah, we need to get back up. I think it actually still is up, but we need to do a bit of stock take. So I'll add that to the subscription if anybody wants to go and buy some stuff. Ronald says the sad truth is if somehow the Bulls win, the Stormers or Ulster will probably beat them next week. Bulls players have basically played a whole UR season and Currie Cup season. No players really got rest. Sean O'Farrell says I think having Sexton on the bench is a bonus because if things go bad, he can change things. I agree. Southern Hemisphere Rugby has 99 problems but winning World Cups 8-1. Bulls versus British and Irish Lions. This game we never got into it. Well, I mean, we're missing Scottish and Welsh and English players, but it is basically, I mean, it's a very, very close to being basically an Ireland A side. But Leinster will be kicking off. They'll be playing left to right, so Bulls will be receiving. Trying to make sure our scorecard does get going. We're going to move over to our match. There it is. The whistle's gone. Ross Byrne gets us underway. And it's an early touch of the ball for Ulrich Lowe. Nice, solid, nice good first carry as well. He gets himself outside the 22. Our clock should be getting any second now, so that'll come up eventually. Just give us a bit of patience there. Oh, well, the Bulls have managed to get that the possession back after that kick. I think Madosh Tomo might have knocked it on, though. No, penalty, actually. I think it might have been offside. But a nice kick chase there from Madosh. If he had managed to actually hold on to that.
Looking for the Bulls there because it's a great box kick. And Camby was just under and he very lucky not to catch clean and start a counter attack.
A nice kick here from Zach Berger. Couldn't find touch because they were outside 22. And it's a good chase from Madosh Tomo. He keeps his eye on the ball the entire time. Oh, I think that's a bit of a harsh penalty. I'm not convinced he was in front, you know. Just waiting to see why our feed isn't putting through. Yeah, so still not putting through in the system. So that'll kick in eventually. It should kick in quite soon, actually. But anyway, so we've got a first penalty here. Leinster on the 5 meter, and they're going to try and more. Comes away through Dan Sheehan. He's brought down by Moscotier. Leinster 5 meter short. The captain, James Ryan, taking into contact. Jameson Gibson Park looking to his right, looking to his left, looking for options. Decides to pick up and go. Now, the traditional Bulls of old would not have minded a physical battle at all. This Bulls pack, while still physical, is not quite sort of the big size and brute force that they might have used to had about 10 years ago, but still plenty of good physical Afrikaans lads backed in there. And so far, so good. Defense holding strong as Leinster going on the back of a couple of pick up and goes. Once again, very good carry now. Tyke Furlong picks up and goes, but it doesn't make any yardage. So not too much gain line being won here by Leinster. Gibson Park quickly to Caden Doris. Comes a bit close. Jabs Gibson Park directing a bit of traffic there. McCarthy, that's a very good defense. It's a brilliant defense so far from the Bulls. The question is how long can they hang on? Can they force a mistake here? Dan Sheehan this time. Now Gibson Park going to Henshaw, who's well read and getting the tackle. And they've actually turned it over. Zach Berger hacks it ahead. Not his best kick, but it's a bit of a foot race. And Kanan Moody's decided to put on the afterburners, putting a lot of pressure on here. Jabs Gibson Park getting away there. And the kick ahead has gone straight into touch. Well, there it is. I would say first blood Bulls, because that is some brilliant defense. The kick from Jimmy O'Brien's gone into touch, but I'm trying to look at this turnover. It's Zach Berger on Tyke Furlong, just rips it, and with no options, decides to hack it down the field. A really good chase. Emerson Gibson Park under a lot of pressure, gave it to Jimmy O'Brien, who then decided to try and find a bit of space in the 22, but overcooked his kick, and all of a sudden it will be a Bulls line out inside Leinster territory. Right, Jan Khobolot's first line of the day. They go towards the back, and it's been stolen. I'm not sure why you go back on your first line, but Josh van der Vleer's come away with it, and Leinster have one possession back, so it's a bit poor from the Bulls. I think Tyke Furlong at first receive, as he often does to do. I mean, after that brilliant pass we saw the other day, why not? Right, Byrne giving it to Henshaw. Henshaw to Gary Ringrose, decides to step back inside. Eventually pulled down to ground by Marcel Coetzee. Does make a few yards, though. Gibson Park under a bit of pressure there. Very flat there from Henshaw. A couple of calls for forward, but nothing from the referee. Now Gibson Park. Robbie Henshaw looking full of running at the moment. Oh dear, well, miscommunication. We have our first scrum of the day, and Gibson Park just threw out, and I don't think McCarthy's expecting that at all, and he's knocked it forward. So we can have our first scrum of the day. And I'd say a little bit messy at the moment. Right, so this is going to be the big one. And as I said, I think if the Bulls confront up here at scrum time, that's the only way they're going to be able to contend in this match. So this is a very big moment. If they can have a big scrum here, the confidence that they'll send throughout the entire pack will be massive. We're going to have a reset after all that. I'm just trying to work out why the data feed is not working. This is really, really frustrating, guys. What is the point of paying all this money and it's just not working? So we'll try and sort out a timer now. I don't know why it's not working though. Very frustrating. Big say a little shaky from Leinster so far. Yeah, I think it's a bit shaky from everyone at the moment. I think it's an early shove there from Bulls, but you gotta put the ball in there, Zach. I think the Bulls front row are very eager to try and make a statement. But also, what an opportunity. You know, as a Bulls player, you've got nothing to lose. Absolutely nothing to lose. Everything to gain, though. You go and put in a world-class performance tonight. You know, look what that does for your confidence. And you can make a name of yourself. You know, you can become a cult hero. You know, you could be that player that scored that try against Leinster to help you win the first URC or get into the first URC final. You know, that's what you can... What's up for grabs? Leinster, all the pressure on Leinster. Leinster have to perform. They're expected to win this match. And the first penalty goes against the Bulls. Jeepers, you almost don't recognize Andrew Porter with the new feed. But yeah, so it's the data feed, just for context, the data feed pulls through the score as well as the time. And it's the live synchronized time with the match, so we are up to date. I've also got a match tracker, but at the moment, as you can see, it actually hasn't kicked in. I'm not quite sure why, so we're trying to find out what the story is there. So Leinster up in the halfway line there. Caelan Doris carrying strong off the back of that line out. Gibson Park back to Ross Byrne. Ross Byrne decides to lift this high in the air. He's got Henshaw and Ringrose chasing hard. Caelan Moody and Madosh Tumwe takes it out well. Ends up backpedaling a little bit. In fact, it gets tackled under the 22. I think it's Jimmy O'Brien putting a lot of pressure on him. They go out to Caelan Moody. Got a bit of space out the wide, though. Gives it inside to David Creel. David Creel getting up to the 10-meter line. Now, strong carry there by Mornay Smith. Oh, that's a perfect kick. Kick over to from Zach Berger, and Ruan Nokia has absolutely smashed the player there. But they found a bit of space down the side, and Gary Ringrose decided to put a kick in behind. Caelan Moody is there to clean up. And that's a horrible kick from Kane and Moody. Oh, that's a good tackle, though. Ross Byrne decided to try and step inside, and Kane and Moody has absolutely hammered him, keeping the Leinster on mile and 10 meter. That's really good work from the youngster, because it was a horrible kick, so he had to chase it down. Oh, that's a really good line being run there. The ball goes out wide here. Inside from O'Brien. Gives inside to Doris. Gives it away to Josh van der Fleer. Nice offloads, but he does stop his track just inside the half. Now, here come the hands. Here come the hands. Inside ball. Looking for the offload there was Henshaw. Gives it straight to Gibson Park. Now, this is where they get so dangerous. A couple of good offloads. Another kick in behind. David Creel's desperately coming across. The ball's come loose. The ball's come loose. And Dan Sheehan is over. Well, that is pretty shoddy defense from the Bulls. There's just nobody back. It ended up being the absolute perfect kick in behind. And just nobody managed to get ahead there. I mean, what's happened here? Where are the Bulls players?
Yeah, a great take for Moody and break that ball. Hang on, good pressure from Lama. But this is like a third. The Bulls can't give Leinster turnover.
I think we are back. Ah! That's so annoying. Please let me know if we are back. I mean, so bloody typical. This is why you can't have nice things in South Africa. Everything's going well, everything's fine and stuff like that, and then the internet decides to cut out. Ugh! And if that's not bad enough, now the scoreboard's not working. Why can't I have nice things? Like the Bulls, if you're going to defend like that. Why can't you have nice things? Well, this is Leinster now looking for a second. Oh, it's a knockout. It's a fumble there in contact. Mossel could see it coming away with it. Mornay Smith. Good hands there from Jan Krobel. Good hands from the Bulls here. Chris Smith bringing in Madosh Tumwe. Madosh Tumwe on the outside here. Side step inside, but the Bulls almost up to the 22. This is really good work here. Mossel could see it to Ruan Nokia. And a penalty for the Bulls. Well, that's the perfect type of response you want to see from the Bulls. Right, so I seem to be back. The question is, why is this scoreboard and the score not back? And we need to sort that out. And why can we not just have nice things? Ah, dear. Dear. Well, we'll try and sort the scoreboard out as soon as possible. But for now, in fact, I can probably try and sort a scoreboard out. Give me 2 seconds.
That's what a penalty is, 100% correct.
Right. Scoreboard incoming in like 3 seconds, people. Just bear with me here. Ah, you know why? So I mean, it's also all it took for me to get the scoreboard going was for me to start trying to do it manually, and all of a sudden it decides to kick back in. I mean, you've got to be absolutely kidding me. Right, we'll be up in 2 seconds. Right, we've got our tracker seems to be kicking in as well. So it looks like our data feed has finally decided to wake up. Hopefully the time will start working now as well. Sorry, people, this is just typical, isn't it? You try and do a nice thing and it all just falls apart quickly. Anyway, Leinster are leading at 7 points to 3, so that scoreboard will catch up in a moment. It is starting to work now, so it'll start kicking in. So if it doesn't, then we'll update it manually. But anyway, so Bulls were inside the 22. It's a deep kick in behind. Jimmy O'Brien underneath it. Now Leinster on the attack here, just outside the half. Ross Byrne going to outside to Robbie Henshaw, who found himself on the wing. Now comes inside. Very good line being run there by Jack Conan. We haven't seen too much of him so far, but it's a solid carry from him. Leinster getting up towards the 10-meter line of the Bulls. Ross Burns standing quite deep. Gary Ringrose showing going, but wrapped up. Although he gets away from a couple of tackles. Slippery customer he can be, old Gary Ringrose. Show and go there from Caelan Doris. And a penalty there. I'm trying to see who's over that. That's Johan Krobela. Of course it's Johan Krobela. They don't play with an out-and-out fetch, the Bulls, but Johan Krobela does a lot of good work on that, with that sort of regard. Right, so where we at here? Vic says the Lions need to build a nice small stadium like this in Santon or Waterfall. It's time to relocate. Yeah, you're preaching to the converted. I always said like a little 20,000 seater stadium in like Midrand. That would absolutely cook. That would operate. I would go to that. Because it's a problem, because they're saying that they literally cannot have evening games in Johannesburg because of the safety issues. So you got to put like a nice little state-of-the-art small mini stadium in Midrand, or as you say, like a Waterfall or Santon, and nice little training field next to it, nice little car park, little complex thing, and then we can go and operate games. We don't need a and it's sad for Ellis Park. We can still have block games there, but 65,000 seater, first of all, is far too big for the Lions. Second of all, it's not a particularly great area. Look, I've never had an instant going there, and I've been going there for years, but still. Anyway, the Bulls are on the attack here. More being stopped in the tracks. Harold Forster carries a strong. They're on just outside the 22. Once my tracker starts working, you'll be able to see that for yourselves. But that's a very good run there from Albert Lowe, breaking the first tackle, getting themselves into the 22. Zach Berger trying to speed things up, getting it off to Arno Buerta. Now Zach Berger to Gerard Steenekamp. Solid tackle there by Gary Ringrose. Now Albert Lowe is a little bit stationary. Still managed to find a few meters. Really good continuity up from the Bulls. A try here will put them in the lead after the 3-pointer they had via the boot of Chris Smith. Good continuity here for the Bulls. There must be about at least 6-7 phases now. Marcel Garcia, the captain, going himself. Oh, Albert Lowe just burst ahead. Can he reach? He's almost there. He's within 2 meters. Now Ruan Nokia is just thrown into the contact of Jamison Gibson Park. Pick up and go on Arno Buerta. They meters away. Gerard Steenekamp once again. And they've got an offside penalty as well, so they can have a bit of a roll of the dice here. Zach Berger goes far. Caelan Moody. Well, there it is. The Bulls are back. The Bulls are ahead. And it's Caelan Moody, the youngster. Well, one of the easiest tries he'll score of his life, really. You know, it's... After all those pick up and goes, that's just relentless pressure. Pick up and go, pick up and go, pick up and go. Caelan Moody and David Creel are sitting out in the wing with nobody ahead of them. So eventually, the ball comes from Zach Berger. It's as easy as you like, really. It all stemmed from that Ulrich Lowe pick up and go, which made a couple of meters. And then, bang, it's just the continuity. They kept going, sucking defenders in. 2-man overlap. And, I mean, he's got no... He drops this, you know. He drops this. And I did wonder at first. I wasn't going to say anything because I just thought that maybe I hadn't seen it properly. Does he actually ground this? Well, the thumbs up came from the official. Oh dear, there's the double blast. There's the double blast. They're going to have a look at it. They're going to have a look at it.
Big lad off for Leinster.
Oh my living, he's butchered it. He's butchered it. Oh, Caelan Moody, what have you done? What have you done? From hero to zero, the most talented youngster in the country at the moment has just absolutely butchered the easiest try he'll ever score. It's weird for Lions supporters to support the Bulls. I guess what happens if a team isn't up to standards of other South African. I don't support the Bulls. Let's be very, very, very clear about that. This is not my team. Any support that comes from them. To be honest, I'd like to see the Bulls win because I think it'll be just adds more flavor to the competition. I'm definitely not supporting the Bulls though. This is not my team, guys. This is our local rivals. You know, from a South African point of view, it's great for them to do it, but full disclosure, unless you're talking about somebody else, I don't support them. I'm out. Not my. Oh, that's a nice little set move. And Johan Grobbelaar, well, Kanan Moody is the most relieved man in the world right now because a little bit of a preset move there from the knock on. Johan Grobbelaar has driven them over, and they've scored that. Kanan Moody is breathing a huge sigh of relief. How clever was that, though? Pick up and go at Ulrich Lowe, and then bang, inside ball to Johan Grobbelaar, who was going on the angle. And to be fair, I mean, they would have done the research. They would have known that Ulrich Lowe is the ball carrier. That's why Ty Furlong and Dan Sheehan was straight after him. But the inside ball from Johan Grobbelaar, he catches Andrew Porter wrong-footed and goes straight over. I mean, you don't expect a Jake Whiteside to do this, do you? And it's such a clever ball as well because it's hidden because there's a ball behind him. So, what a move. Fair enough. Well played.
Sleight of hand from Elway Rowe to just pop it back into the onrushing Grobbelaar. Just pretty hurry up on himself here just in case they spot anything else.
Well, I mean, it's not the best kick from Chris Smith. It does come off the upright, but it does go through. So Bulls 10 points to 7. They do lead. Looks like my scoreboard's caught up. We're still waiting for the rest of the data feed to start working, but baby steps, I suppose. Baby steps. Oh, that's a huge tackle on Ulrich Lowe following the kickoff. Ulrich Lowe's having a word with the referee. Not quite sure about what. Well, it's a long way to go. It's a very, very long way to go. But the important thing, if you are going to try and beat Leinster, is you've got to stay in the game the entire match. Oh, that's a horrible moment. Jimmy O'Brien's just built that forward. All of a sudden, Chris Smith trying to put a kick in behind. I think that's going to go too far. That's pretty poor from Chris Smith. But no advantage. He's lucky because usually, often, as soon as they kick it from a knock-on advantage, they lose the advantage. But this is a pretty poor effort here from O'Brien. Goes up, and the ball goes straight in and straight out. That's the thing, you know. From a mental perspective, 3-point lead. Now there's a mistake. Capitalize it. Just stay in the fight. Stay in the hunt. The best way to stay in the hunt is to stay in the lead because you can do that for the entire game while you've won. But yeah, the longer the Bulls will be in this game, and that scoreboard will reflect the fact that they're in this game, the Bulls will suddenly be feeling, well, we can do this. Whereas Leinster might start panicking, sitting there going, sure, we didn't actually expect this to be this tough. So that's just a small sort of mental thing, I suppose, you've got to try and look at. Captain Crunch says, 2 has these guys not learned from only, literally. At least they got the result in the end. Where's your beers? Yeah. Nah, listen, it has been a long day, to be fair. But I've got an early morning. Yeah, I actually also got to buy some, so I'm going to get some tomorrow for the Stormers game. Right, Bulls. Chris Smith giving it flat to Corner Hendricks. Corner Hendricks giving away to Kanan Moody. Kanan Moody sees a bit of space, but he's wrapped him. Well, he gets the offload away to David Creel. That's a really good offload there. Nice continuity. Jamison Gibson Park, however, is on the ball, but not rolling is the call, so it is a penalty for the Bulls on the halfway line. Going to go for the line out here, not quite within the range of Chris Smith. But if you can get a good kick in here, and that doesn't look too bad. Yeah, that's a brilliant kick from Chris Smith. There, he's parked him 8 meters out. Opportunity here. Nice little offload there. Yeah, gets away from O'Brien. Brought down by Henshaw. It's a good tackle by Laughlin there on David Creel. But Jamison gets the pass with every right to play the ball. But it's Laughlin who hasn't rolled away, making it illegal for Gibson Park to have a go there. Let's give Stevie some likes. I agree. We're sitting on 63 likes. Surely we can get to 100 likes. And I'm also going to end the poll, which has been voted on 560 times. Love you guys' work. They go to the back to Honor Boy to bring it down to Albert Lowe. Josh van der Vlier makes the tackle. Quick ball here. Pick up and go, though. Well, I mean, Bulls are bringing out all the tricks. We're seeing set moves. We're seeing different things. That's a nice carry by Jan Kobelov. Oh, Marcel Coetzee, it's over. Well, from where? From where? I mean, is this... We've got to ask the questions here. We have to ask the genuine questions here. Is this the Bulls or is this Prime New Zealand? Whenever do you know what it actually kind of reminds me of? It actually kind of reminds me of the Japanese. Not from the big, brutish bulldozing, but where have we seen all these little moves, these little offloads? That's just a really good angle being run by Marcel Coetzee. Just pops it up, bang. And what's important there is that he pops it so low that Marcel Coetzee, by the time he's catching about that much off the ground, so his momentum's going forward. And Marcel Coetzee's momentum going forward is a tough thing to stop. But goodness me, 15 points to 7, the Bulls lead after 25 minutes. Kick still to come. It's under the poles. I think we're having a look here. I'm not quite sure at what. Possible knock on that having a look at. Matthew Dixon asking, could Leinster go trophyless this season? Well, that's what they're staring down the barrel of at the moment. I saw my TV, so bring me the info, please. Well, there we go. That's what you got to here for. Sharks coaches, take note. Yeah, I mean, you're not wrong, is it? This team is looking so slick. Right, I think we're looking at the knock-on here. Albert Low picks up and go. There's nothing wrong with that. There's no knock-on there. The ball comes loose there. And then gets popped up. I don't see any reason not to award this. There's no knock on there. I think that's fine from Albert Low. It's the question is here when the ball comes out here, it's ripped out by Robbie Henshaw, then popped up by Zach Berger. Yeah, I think this is gonna stand. Yeah, it's a try. Yeah, good refereeing. The try stands. 15 points to 7. Kick to come. Should be 17 points to 15. 17 points to 7. Well, I don't think anybody would have predicted this. Maybe, just maybe, that poll where 560 people, 72% of 560 people could be correct. Bulls win 72%. That's what everybody went with. Marcel Coetzee saying, keep it up. Keep it. And exactly. You talked about scoreboard pressure. Well, they score next, for example, either a penalty or whatever, and suddenly they could go 13 points, if not more, ahead of Leinster in the first half. Who would have thought about that? Well, I mean, as you said that, they've just made a complete hash of the kickoff, and that's a coach killer. For a side that have looked so well coached, this is a big mistake. And who is it? Who's guilty here? Harold Forster goes up, gets completely wrong. And it goes straight through his hands. I mean, he's jumped, turned, not seen it. It's come through his hands basically like that. Not a good moment for Harold Forster. And all of a sudden, this has allowed Leinster to have a scrum on the 22. Just says, Leinster are not without a trophy. They won the Irish Shield. Fair point. Fair point. Question is, do even Leinster fans rate that as a trophy? Jamison Gibson Park, giving it to Rossett Byrne. Back to Jamison Gibson Park to Ringrose. That's very well defended. I think it's it's Cornel Hendricks who's made it a tackle there. Jack Conan on a rampaging run. It was ripped in the tackle, but not released at the call. So it is a penalty to Leinster. Now, decision time. It's very kickable. It is playoff rugby. So one imagines you go for the polls, but you're also at home. You're the favourites. Yeah, they've gone for the corner. They want the full 7. Well, that's an interesting decision to make because it was an easy 3. It was a guaranteed 3, basically. And all of a sudden, this comes down to Harold Forster knocking on because they score here and bang, it could be a 3-point game. So things could turn a lot. Well, first thing, having said that, the line has come free and all of a sudden it's fallen in the way of the Bulls. Oh no, Boerta's come away with that. Really well done to disrupt the line out there. Now Albert locating a bit of a better angle. Zach Berger will be able to clear. So that's another mental victory. They could have been within 7, could Leinster, but they decide to go for the full 7. And I don't think they'll be doing that again. Zach Berger's not found touch. Laughlin comes inside to O'Brien. O'Brien's going a bit of a run. Runs into Jan Kobelov, but it's available for Gibson Park. Oh, and the locks combining and the knock on there. Albert Lowe passing it wide to Harold Forster. Harold Forster going to the boot, being chased down. And the referee will come back for the scrum. Charles Fenter, the latest man to the Prayer of Sports Members Club. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. If you'd like to become a member, it is the pinned comment. It's a small monthly fee that really, really does help us going. We've got quite an exciting announcement coming in a couple of weeks ahead of the Springbok series, which is more of a personal update than a channel announcement, but it's going to impact the channel quite a lot. So quite excited to share that with you guys. But yeah, so the people that can become members, I really do appreciate that. That goes a long way in helping keeping this channel going. Captain Crunch saying, let's wait and see. Match is far from over, 100%. Jean says they're not going to get it. Should have gone for polls. I agree. Yes, but look, can we see the whole game? Like, can you stream where they play? So, well, if my data feed would work, that little field on the left usually does tell you where it's going, but we're having issues from the data supply. Unfortunately, we can't really handle that. So that will traditionally show you where everything's going. And where it says first there, that'll also traditionally be a clock with the amount of time on it. So hopefully that'll get working in the second half. But if you want to watch the game itself, I'll put a link in the description. You can use ExpressVPN and you can watch it on RTE, I think it is, which is a free-to-air broadcaster. So that's an easy way to watch it. But referee, get out the way. Oh! Yo, Jamison Gibson Park was about to box the referee because he threw it against the referee and the referee went, what do you want? And he continued playing. And now he's given a scrum to Bulls. No, now he's giving it to Leinster. Somebody breathalyze the referee, chaps. Somebody breathalyze the referee. Dear me. I'm going to put a link in the description on how you can watch it, by the way. Skiddo says Leinster suck. I mean, that's a big call. Bulls giving Leinster a lesson how to play rugby. Oh, look, it's only the first half an hour. If there's one thing I can pretty much guarantee with this Leinster side is that they will have their chance to come back. What a game, 100%. What's the time? We're sitting at half an hour. Penalty quickly taken by Gibson Park. Henshaw putting the kick in behind. Caden Moody is underneath it. It's a bit of a better kick from him. We go straight down the middle of the park. But a tech is there for Ross Byrne, who will keep that inside as well. Some more takers there from Adosh Tumwe. Just waits for it to bounce. Now he's going to go on a run. Doesn't look like he wants to kick it as well. Runs away from Ruan Okia and concedes a penalty. That's really, really poor. Everybody to run towards. I mean, Ruan Okia is putting his hand up. But to be fair, I mean, how do you miss him? Like Madosh, just don't run at the big white guy. Which is more a reflection of his kit. I mean, he's pointing where to go. Yeah, it's really... I mean, Madosh Tumwe probably needs to take more of blame there because he runs at him. But anyway, they've conceded a penalty and all of a sudden Leinster will have a line inside the 22. Yeah, so we're 31 minutes in. I don't know why this time is not working. Be really cool once it does. Overhyped Leinster getting schooled how to play rugby by a team that has barely played much rugby. You're talking about the Bulls. This Bulls side has probably played more minutes together than any other side. They've probably been the most consistent with their selections across the entire tournament. Anyway, Leinster here. Good hand. Oh, what hands? Hands! Hands! A lot more inside. Gibson Park, inside ball. I mean, the hands there by Leinster. That's a bit more what they're about. But he's a little bit isolated here. Penalty advantage. Gibson Park inside to McCarthy. Oh, he goes himself. And they're over. Robbie Henshaw picks up and goes himself. Manages to get the ball over his head for a really... I mean, that's well taken. You got to admit. Well, Henshaw's been up for it. He's looked very active. He's been everywhere, hasn't he? He's been on the wing. Now he's picking up and going and scoring tries. Leinster hit back. Is this Leinster's A team? It's as strong as they can be, considering that they have quite a few injuries. Not many injuries, but they do have a fair few. And yeah, Leinster definitely not getting destroyed, Chief. I hate to break it to you, but they're one conversion away from being within 3 points. So all we keep hearing is how good Leinster are supposed to be. Chief, like, they topped the table. Did you watch the last time these two teams played? But it wasn't pretty. So I think you're asking for trouble if you're going to write Leinster off. The Bulls have played very well. Leinster haven't played particularly well. But yeah, I would write them off at your own peril because Ross Byrne is currently kicking to make this a 3-point game. Leinster B plus team. No, I'd say it's pretty much I wouldn't say it's full strength. Johnny Sexton off the bench, for example. Hugo Keenan. But yeah, Bulls still winning. Who do you think will win, Stephen? I don't know. Actually, I'm quite impressed by what I'm seeing from the Bulls. But I mean, for example, just that move there by Leinster shows you the quality. I mean, the hands there were terrific. That all came from Tumware. Yeah, 100%. This is more of a battle coach than anything else. Interesting concept there, actually. Did you watch last week? I watched the highlights last week when they absolutely decimated Glasgow Warriors to the point where Glasgow Warriors coach got fired. Imagine getting to the playoffs and getting fired. That would suck. We're in the playoffs, chaps, and you get drawn against Leinster, the best side in the competition. You get hammered, so they say, "Sweet, we'll terminate your contract. Thanks, Chief." Off you go. Heroes going Bulls by 15. 31-3 says John. Why can't you show the live game like how they play? Because this channel would be shut down faster than Madosh Tumwa does the 100. And apparently it's been clocked in that 10.3 seconds. It's illegal to show the match footage, so I cannot do that. Can't believe we're back. At least I know I'm reaching new people when people start asking that question. So the Leinster team are bottled. I mean, they've bottled one final. Could very well be wrestling the URC next weekend. I think you're just having a good. I think you're just trolling now, mate. Matthew says, Leinster are playing with their prey. They're about to run away with it. You're a whole 50 seconds ahead of me. Had to pause. You don't get spoilers. Well, with 34, 41, 42, 43, if you want to pause and catch up. As I said, unfortunately, our data feed time is not working, which means I can't. No, but hang on. But why? Okay, I was about to say because it seems to be working here, but not working on the screen. I don't know. That's unfortunately we've got no control over that, but hopefully we'll get that working for tomorrow. We'll submit a complaint. We'll submit a ticket. Right, 5 minutes to go to half time. Who will lead after the first 40? Well, that's a big scrum there from Leinster. Yeah, that was kind of what I'd be nervous of if I was a Bulls fan is that scrum right there because that was powerful. No penalty, thankfully for them, but that looks a little bit ominous because if that's going to be the type of scrum you're going to see more of, then you could be in a bit of trouble. Rudy's going 37-35 for Bulls. What a game would that be? Graham reckons Leinster's doing better than I thought. I'm not sure I would have gone that one. Maybe Bulls doing better than I thought. It was probably what I would have said. Mark says, great start by Bulls, but Leinster coming into form now. Bulls used to be the best at mauls in the world. What happened? They just decided we don't need mauls. They're going to have fancy little offload and stuff like that. David Creel's going off from the looks of it. I think it's an HIA. So Kirkley Orense will come into the park, which we'll see him, I'm sure, go to full back. And Kanan Moody, I'm sure, will take up residency on the wing. Where's your beer? Yeah, I'm not in the beers tonight. We'll go to the beers tomorrow. First of all, I didn't even buy beers, so I'm not particularly organized. Oh, no. Oh, he's elbow on the floor here. No penalty. Leinster do use it. They break. Oh, what a tackle. Caden Moody was waiting for that. I love this kid's physicality. I really do. Oh, well, it was a nice idea if Master could try and come up, but Master Costello managed to wrap him up. But Caden Moody, tell you what, you could put him in the centres. This defence is so good. Big tackle there being made once again. So Leinster got halfway line. McCarthy being brought down right in front of Mornay Smith. Good rucking there from, I think it was James Ryan. Ross Byrne just decides to just hack it down the middle. Curtly Arnsell will get his first touch of a ball in a couple of weeks. Been out injured for a while, which is why he doesn't start. Launches the ball down towards Byrne. Sorry, it's O'Brien. And Curtly Arnsell makes the tackle. It's available though for Gibson Park. Gives it straight to a lofty inside ball to... I think it was Jack Conan there. McCarthy, a little bit isolated, but his support comes in the form of his lock partner. Gary Ringrose brings... Gibson Park to Byrne. Oh, it's a really good turnover there from Johan Krobbelar. And all of a sudden, the ball's are turned over. Well, Johan Krobbelar's having a great game at the breakdown. Arno Burton, after spawning a bit of space, goes himself. Zach Berger going to Mornay Smith. You'd imagine just creating a bit of an angle now. I'm sure we'll see Zach Berger go to the boot. Yeah, correct. Right, Zach Berger pops into the air. Madosh Tumwe is chasing hard. Oh, Super Sport, what have you done? No! That's gone down. The stream's gone. The feed's gone. Madosh Tumwe had the ball in his hands. Oh, my goodness. Oh, now we're hearing Super Sport. No, I mean, how can you have done this to us? It's all gone down. Oh. Well, this is fun. Super Sport stream, obviously, yeah, they've lost the stream. We apologize for loss of pictures. Our technicians are working on it. Did he drop it? Well, there we go. Jonathan said he dropped it. Joel, I don't want to be listening to you. Ah. Down everywhere. Yeah, about to say, is it a worker on URC TV? Anybody overseas? Jonathan says it's a scrum to Leinster. We're going to have to try and find some text updates at this rate. Here we go. We're back. We're back. Right, so we're seeing from a penalty at the scrum. I assume that was Madosh Chum where... yeah, it's a massive scrum from Leinster. And that's where the penalties come. And when did it start raining? Well, that's the Irish weather we kind of expected. It is pissing down. Goodness me. Where did that rain come from? Well, the hooter's gone. So a big scrum there from Leinster. They've been told to use it once. They go back towards Longmore now. That's a big hit from him. Chris, well, Moskotsev actually doing the defense duties, really. Gives the park to Jack Conan. Up to the 22. Tyke Furlong carrying it up now. And now it almost looks like stopped raining all of a sudden. Well, that weather looks pretty emotional, to be honest. An inside ball to Ringrose. Ringrose tries duck under the tackle of Steenkamp, kind of just falls down with him. And they have turned it over. Cornel Hendricks has decided to hack it upfield. He's not trying to find touch. Is it going to stay in? It is going to stay in. It is going to stay in. And, oh, it's a knock on there. So it's available. That's a penalty against Leinster for sealing off. Well, I think that'll be the half. Yep, tapping into touch. They go. Right, so halftime score 17 points to 14. The Bulls still do lead. What a half. I don't think we expected to see that, did we? Well, a very close half, very good game of rugby. It does seem to be heating up quite a lot, so that's really good to see. And hopefully we'll see some more of that in the second half, because if we can get that kind of game here, well, I'm excited for tomorrow, and I'm excited for whatever we're going to see next weekend. But after 560 votes, 56% people backed Bulls to win. They are in the lead at halftime. A couple of comments before I go is all teams have struggled with more defense this year. How's Chris Smith playing? Haven't seen too much of him, to be honest. Chris Smith is 100% goal kicking. The one hit the poles and went in. This is good for you. Now everyone's going to the channel. It's pissing down the URC's feed. Yeah, Leinster dominate that scrum. Matthew Dixter's working editor late. Yeah, no, it's been very pretty emotional weather there. Right, Jonathan says good half of rugby. It's good for the URC. You can't see now we are back. The feed did go down for a bit, but it does seem to be back. I'll be back in a couple of minutes. In the meantime, we've got a couple of some stats and stuff. Oh well, that's great. That is great. You know, we asked for one thing, and that's for our data feed to pull in all the fancy stats and stuff like that, and it just hasn't. That's very frustrating. Well, as you can see on the right hand side there, halftime, Bulls 17, Leinster 14, and I'll be back in just a bit.
The UFC packs a mighty punch with an explosive spectacle in Singapore. Formula One gets in tow with the slipstreaming mecca in Baku. And T20 World Cup press wraps up with a Proteas cross-stroke of India. Up your game this weekend.
Sorry, let me unmute myself. Hello, welcome back. What a half rugby. Bulls currently leading Leinster 17 points to 14. Why is it showing a football feed on my flipping thing? You know, why can't I not have my... I've got such a shit day. Stop it. Anyway. Again, I still don't think this is... Oh, we're just going to be back to this one anyway. But, yeah, what do we think of that half? Yeah, as I said, we should have stats. Who knows why it's not working there. It's driving me up the blooming wall. But what a half over rugby. What a half rugby. Where are we at, you? What are we saying, people? Coming a couple of comments here. Somebody, Peanut and Bake, was saying Leinster make a lot of mistakes. I was saying Bulls need to keep playing. It'd be nice to keep it up. Kirtley should have started when the grass was dry. They should put Mornay on for the rain. Where does Earl Rose fit in all of this? He's talking about Earl Rose. Yeah, I obviously missed that one. Fortune Teller says the ball will be passed, kicked, and dropped. Tries will be scored, and team will win. Makesh says Bulls need to play that kind of rugby they played in the first half, but stop kicking the ball away and allowing them to run with it. Yeah, I mean, it's difficult, isn't it, when you're sort of very much a game player and you're sort of tactical kicking, trying to sort of play in the right areas, but at the same time, Leinster are brilliant when they've got ball in hand. So 6.5 doesn't for the other, isn't it? If the Bulls can win here, it will give the Stormers such confidence. We would have an SA final. Yeah, it's an interesting point, actually. You know, the fact that Stormers will be watching this going, well, cheapers, if the Bulls are going to do that against Leinster, then we need to bring our A game against Ulster and prove a point as well. New, welcome to the channel. Please make sure you have subscribed. I haven't checked to see what the subscribe... I mean, surely we've gone up quite a lot with our subscribers. Because the one on the thing there takes a while to update. We did finally go past... what's it called? 10,700, which we've been threatening to do for ages. The question is, when will we get past 11,000? Well, we've almost gained 50 subscribers during the stream. So can you guys get us to 10,800? We need 53 people to do it. If you guys can get me to 10,800 today, I will be very tough with life. But I'm going to get rid of the stats. Hopefully the scoreboard and everything will work this half a bit better. Chris Smith has got ball in hand. Bulls are playing right to left. Right, 40 minutes. Can the Bulls do it? Whatever Jake what and he's just turned straight away, so he knows it's not a particularly good kick, and it isn't a particularly good kick. Although it has been knocked on. And that is a horror moment from Robbie Henshaw, who I thought was one of the top players for Leinster in the first half. That ball bounced, and when he eventually tried to grab it, he knocked it on. And Bulls have been gifted a 5-meter scrum. Maybe a 10-meter scrum. 7.5-meter scrum. But a scrum deep inside Leinster 22 with the putter. And the unfortunate thing here, though, is that Leinster scrum last half did dominate them. So, big ask here. But if they can get clean ball, then hopefully they can hit something. But yeah, to answer the new guy, we can't show any of the action, unfortunately. So, usually, Elric go down the blind side. He's got away from one. Still driving hard. His knees on the ground, though, so they're going to have to release. Also good to see her now pick up and going. Bulls can score first here. That will go a long way towards... Zach Berger going a bit of a snipe. Falling in a bit of compromised position, but that's good clearing. Gerard Steenekamp. Pick up and goes. Jan Krobela, he's been good tonight. Try score in the first half. Zach Berger complaining about being dragged into the ruck. Pick up and go is coming here. Just use it, chaps. Stop complaining and use it. Mornay Smith. Got Walt Steenkamp behind him. Now it's available. Zach Berger once again playing more as a flank than a scrum half, but Jan Krobela will pick up and go. That red scrum cap does put in a lot of work. It's available. They go to Gerard Steenekamp. He kind of falls at the hands of the feet of Teandorus. Now Ulrich Lowe pick up and go. Not finding too much gain line advantage. Might need to try and see it. Have something about different here, but last time, to be fair, a couple of pick up and goes just drew the defenders in. That's a nice carry there from Jan Krobela, making a few meters. They need to see more of that. Big counter rack coming in from Josh van der Fleer, though. It looks like it's a bit from the side, though. Well, Zach Berger managed to get away. Ulrich Lowe sees a bit of space. Ulrich Lowe, has he gone over? No, they're just short. It's available for the back there for Ruan Nokia. Ruan Nokia goes himself, comes up short. Walt Steenkamp is isolated, needs help. Does make the ball available though. That's good work. Really, really good ball retention this from the Bulls. The question is, can they just find that moment? Marcel Cassia, very upright in that carry. Another pick up and go. They're not getting any gain advantage though. We're going to have to try and do something a bit different here, the Bulls. Well, having said that, this is a Bulls side and a Jake White side, and they'll do this all day if they have to. Right, now, Zach Berger is digging. Goes short once again. This is really impressive defense here from Leinster, it must be said. It's relentless. Leinster just waiting for Bulls to make that mistake. Couple quick pick up and goes. They're just short once again. And a penalty to Leinster. I said they needed to do something else. I mean, that must have been about 20 phases. I mean, look at the celebrations from the Leinster players. They know how big that was. They concede there, and suddenly it's a bit of a mountain to climb. Obviously not out of it, but it's a mountain to climb. That defense. Right, let's have a look at that. So that's Ulrich Lowe there. Well, there's no rolling away there. There's no rolling away. So it actually should have been a penalty for the Bulls. I mean, Caelan Doris, he's come up short, which means you got to roll away. And they're just lying there. Well, that's a bizarre decision. I mean, it's fantastic defense, but I don't think that's a particularly good decision. Which is a pity because the referees, I mean, yeah, having said, he's had a couple of dodgy decisions, I think. Anyway, right, well, the Leinster survive. And you kind of just feel that the Bulls got such a talented backline. Give the ball to Cornel Hendricks. See what he can do. Gibson Park hacks it downfield. Curtly Orange are still in the park, so it looks like David Creel won't return. Puts that into the sun. Kanan Moody is chasing hard. He's very good under the high ball, but he doesn't manage to get there. It's well taken out there. I think is that Dan Sheehan? Now Gibson Park. Looking for that 5th-22, I think, there. The ball's just going to sit up by the try line. Curtly Orange has got Madosh Tumway next to him, so Curtly Orange is going to go himself. Now, this is where Curtly Orange gets a bit dangerous. Good tackle made by Josh van der Fleer, and what a counter-rack as well. Cornel Hendricks picks up the scraps, and it still is in Bulls' hands. Marcel Coetzee. And now Zach Berger, I'm sure, will look for the territory. Now Zach Berger goes to the boot. Madosh Tumway is cantering after, but Jimmy O'Brien takes it without any pressure. Jimmy O'Brien puts it onto the left boot. Where are the Bulls players? This is going to run out. No, it's not. It's going to set up. Well, that would have been a 50-22. Kanan Moody desperately getting back. Kanan Moody gets away from one. Cuts inside. And I think he's knocked it on from the tackle of Jack Conan. No. Backwards is the call. Ruan Nokia very, very stationary and gets smashed by Tyke Furlong and moved back. So Bulls on a little bit of pressure here. And a penalty for sealing off. Well, that's just relentless pressure, isn't it? It was a really good hit there by Tyke Furlong and Ruan Nokia. Probably one of the best, if not the best, tight heads in the world right now is Tyke Furlong. So, Kanan Moody originally does very well. Gets away from one. And then steps inside, but he needs the support here. Yeah, it's Ruan Nokia there who just sort of puts his head down and gets smashed by Tyke Furlong. And it takes a while for them to go. And it's Walt Steenkamp who's just off his feet at the breakdown. So, but once again, Leinster not going for the 3 points. And you kind of wonder why. You could have taken the 3 points there, slotted it, leveled the scores, and gone again. That's a strange decision. Everybody here not agreeing with the decision there. Yeah, I think it was a bit of a tough one against Bulls. Mathic says the team is going to go on, is going to take on New Zealand. The Bulls, which really should not win. Yeah, everybody's sort of saying that the call wasn't great. And yeah, I think Sam's been answered there. But yeah, the final, if the Bulls and Stormers will win, will be in Cape Town. Kaapstad, Cape Town Stadium, Greenpoint. Yeah, this data provider is a disaster. It's still saying half time. You're going to have to try and make sure we've got a another scoreboard alternative tomorrow. It's very frustrating because you do this all so that you don't have to do it. Backwards there, but it does fall to the hands of Josh van der Fleer, so it will be available for Leinster, although no rolling more. And they have to roll it away because backwards there's the call. That's a very strong carry. It's a very strong carry there from Jack Horan. A bit of help there from him. Now, Andrew Porter to Josh van der Fleer, gives it away to Tyke Furlong. Chris Smith makes the tackle there. Gibson Park goes to the blind side. Oh, they had numbers. But James Ryan, the captain, deciding not to use them. Gibson Park wants quick ball. Probably reckons there was a knock on there. Ball still inside there. And a knock on is the call. Again, Leinster not going for the points, coming back to bite them. You kind of sit there thinking, you understand that they back themselves, but this is playoff rugby. This is semi-finals. Surely you need to be going for the 3 points. Leo Cullen and those massive ears watching on. Right, scrum for the Bulls. This is not... They're not out of danger yet because this Leinster scrum has been having a pretty good time with them of late. Jonathan said it's a very Irish thing going to the corner. We love them all. Come on, Leinster. I would really like one Grand Slam run on Super, says Matthew. How's it decided where the final will be? Are there a few options? It's on log position as Chris Smith does find the clearance. So Leinster finish first. So if they win tonight, then they will host the final. If Stormers win, they came second, then they'll host the final. If Stormers and Leinster both lose, Ulster came third, so they'll host the final. Yeah. So how's it decide? Website updates faster than apps. The app you're using? No, it's a data feed that we pull from a provider. So it's not like it's a Rugby Pass something like that app. And it is usually in time because I'm watching on satellite, so we are as close to being live as possible, and it is usually pretty bang on when it does work. At least now it says the second half, so baby steps. Anyway, Caelan Doris carrying it up just outside the 22. Gibson Park looking for some runners. Josh van der Fleer, that would have been a typical Josh van der Fleer run there in between the two defenders. You always run such a good line. Byrne going himself, driven back by Harold Forster on the 22. Andrew Porter. James Ryan running off the shoulder of Gibson Park. Gibson Park now to Typhoon. The offload was just too good for everyone as they left it behind. And it will be a scrum advantage for Bulls, but they come away with it. And Runo Kier gets the offload from Arno Buerta. No advantage, though, says the referee, and he'll come back for a scrum. Well, must be said, impressive defence. But Leinster, they've got to take the points next time they get that penalty, because at the moment they are really struggling to break this Bulls defence down. If we look at some of the stats here, let's see if Rugby Pass is updated. Although Rugby Pass stats are usually pretty poor, that takes a while for them to update them to the correct ones after the match itself. So maybe check Ultimate Rugby and see what the sort of tackle stats are looking like.
What's happened is when it's tightening up, it actually goes to where the Bulls are strong. So it's really fascinating that Leinster beat the Bulls at what they're good at, or can they go back to their kind of all-court game that's made it easier for them to win games this season. So they're in both teams are in a pretty tight puddle, just trying to take on some hydration and reassess exactly where they are, which is at the middle of an absolute slowdown.
Right. So this is Ultimate Rugby. They've got how many tackles being made? They've got 111 made by Leinster and 13 missed, and 101 made by Bulls and 14 missed. 88 and 86% tackle success. But to have both teams having made 100 tackles by 50 minutes does show you how much of a slugfest it really is. Ruck's pretty even. Lineouts pretty even as well. The Leinster scrum has been better though. Obi says, is it still raining, having a weaker scrum and the rain is not good? No, it's suddenly sunny, looks pretty dry already. Looks like a nice Irish day. As I said, it's been an emotional roller coaster when it comes to the wedding. Wow, there it is! Scrum penalty for the Bulls. Look what it means to them. Now, Andrew Porter's going to have a bit to say. Well, first scrum penalty, that's exactly what they needed because they're under a lot of pressure. They've kind of been parked down in that final sort of 22 area for the Bulls for quite a while. So it's a big moment for Bulls to be able to get a penalty and clear their lines a bit. I can't recognize Andrew Porter. Where's the blonde gone, mate? Now, can we see the highlights here? I just can't believe he's gone. He's ditched the long blonde hair. I mean, this is Leinster. Ty Furlong has just left the park, and Super Rugby winning tight head Michael Alalatora has just run on. I mean, it's just not fair, is it? 30 years old is Alalatora. He's played 7 games for Samoa, played 94 games for Crusaders before he came to Leinster last year. And what a player to be able to bring on. But this is a really good maul here from Bulls before Jan Kobbelaar breaks away. They're about halfway between the 10-meter and the 22. Still with the lead because Leinster just don't want to kick for goal. They've turned down 6 points at least. Well, penalty advantage as well for the Bulls as well. I'll tell you what, they should be taking the points if they get that. Jan Kobbelaar back on the angle. And no advantage, they'll go back for the penalty. I think if Leinster lose this, they'll look back and think that we squandered. We just didn't take 6 points. They had 2 opportunities where they could have taken the points, and they decided not to and go for the line out, and they messed it up both times. They would be in the lead. They'd have 3. They'd have a 3-point lead if they took the points both those occasions. So that's why they always say when it's playoff rugby, you take the points, you don't turn them down. Anyway, it looks like the front row of Bulls are going to be coming on. Imperial Montezuma and Robert Hunt being readied. Well, we're over 100 likes, people, so I appreciate you. I wonder if we can get to 150 by the end of the game. We've got 300 people watching, so literally only half of you have to like it to get to 150 likes. Like, I don't feel it's that hectic. Also, 49 subscribers, and we're up to 10,800. We are 249 away from 11,000, and we've been trying to hit 11,000 for months now. We got to 10,000. We were like, cool, next is 11,000. We just never got there. So that's the big thing we need to sort out. Anyway, Bulls going for the line-out here. They do find Ruan Nokia. And the more looks like it's working a lot better here for the fact they're going on a bit of a run here. Jan Kobbelaar. Well, it's Rampage. Are they going to be stopped? It has come down. Penalty advantage. Penalty try! Well, that is the most Bulls play, traditional Bulls play you will see. A penalty try, a yellow card for Leinster as well, which is not good because I actually don't have my yellow card sorted for the scoreboard. I might have buckled with that. But what a moment that is for the Bulls. Alright, so I'll get that yellow card off. I actually missed now who actually went off. Who went off here, people? Who was guilty? Let me have a quick squiz here. Do I see Makala Latour? I see Andrew Porter. Do I see Dan Sheehan? Is that ball gone out? Yes, it has. James Ryan. Oh, well, the captain. The captain's off. Well, there we go. Right, meanwhile, whilst the captain is off, let me indicate the fact that the captain is off. Yellow card, home with new studio. You get a few things. I mean, imagine being able to bring on Johnny Sexton. Like, right, chaps, things aren't going the way we'd like them to, so we need to make a change. What should we do? Oh, well, why don't we just put on the best flower half Scotland's ever had? Because that might help. You never. I mean, it's no guarantee, but maybe that'll be a good idea. I mean, goodness me. Right, there we go. Yellow card for Leinster. You get a little timer, don't we, with the counting down? That'll be cool. 24 points to 14, if the scoreboard ever updates, is the score. Yeah, I'm really sorry about the scoreboard. I mean, last weekend, and people will know we've been using the system for the last. What did I say? Did I say Scotland? What did I say? I don't even know. It's been a long day. Best Irish flower half of all time. Too busy adding my yellow card. But yes, people, I can tell you that the scoreboard does usually work. We have been using it for the last 3 weeks, and we've never had an issue. So trust it to go down on the semi-finals. So apologies for that. And apologies for calling Johnny Sexton Scottish or English. What did I say? I can't even remember what I said. If I knew, I would be able to tell you. Anyway, what are we at? How much time is left? It is 54 minutes at the moment. The Leinster club are weekend bottlers. Overrated club. Unfortunately, when you start saying things like that, you actually look misinformed. More than anything else. Yes, Bulls are currently beating them, but yeah, if you're gonna start saying that the club's useless, I think you come across a little bit uneducated, unfortunately. By the way, this is a pretty good looking maul. The Bulls are making that one-man advantage count. If they score another one here, it could be tickets, you know. It could be tickets. It's available for Zach Berger. No penalty advantage there either. Ruan Nokia. But Leinster need a spark. They need a spark. Blind says Bulls take advantage of the yellow card. It will be game. Bulls are going to start running away with it now. Leinster did well to hold on. And the Irish team is supposed to beat the All Blacks. Can't even beat the Bulls. Well, they did beat the All Blacks, to be fair. But beating the All Blacks and New Zealand is a whole different kettle of fish. Yes, I am well aware that Johnny Sexton is not Scottish. It just was a moment. Trust me. I think we all know that. This is a good move. Curtly Orenser out to Madosh Tumwe inside, doing a bit of lateral. Jake White won't be happy with that, is what he apparently did in practice when he first arrived. Zach Berger now to Gerard Steenkamp. I think we'll start seeing the new Bulls front row quite soon as well. 56 minutes here. Well, Steenkamp. Brought down by Lamar. Johan Kobler knocks it on. Turnover ball. Well, that's a bit sloppy from Johan. He's been really good so far tonight. Love your circle. Yeah, it's quite cool, isn't it? What do you think about the new studio, by the way? It's nice and like vibey now. We've got moving elements. The Ferreira Sports is sparkling behind me. We're back to the side panels. It'll be so cool once this works. The scoreboard and the match tracker. It's gonna be flipping cool. I'm telling you right now, this is gonna be really cool. You just need to get it working. See? You see? Look how cool that is. Now, it's a bit late because that happened a while ago. But once the time starts working and the scoreboard kicks in, I think that this is going to be really cool. Bulls score again, and it's seriously over. Well, there goes Morne Smith, Gerard Steenkamp, and Wal Steenkamp. Well, I mean, in terms of job done, when you're walking off with a 10-point advantage, you can hold your head pretty high, can't you? You've done your job. Jean says Jake is a great coach and has brought a lot of discipline to the Bulls squad. I agree. So I guess we can already write down a Bulls versus Ulster final next week. Hey, not sure too many guys will be happy with that concept. Bulls need to score a hole. They have one man down. Agreed. Leinster's attack is lacking a bite today. Yeah, it just hasn't really come. Oh my! Oh, sorry. Everything was happened. So I think it was O'Brien's kick was charged down by Harold Forster, who then slipped And then it looked like Madosh Tumble was going to get there. And then I think I can't even remember. You saw, I think it might have been O'Loughlin who managed to dive over. So now checking to see if it was carried over or if it is a goal line dropout. But if it's carried over, then it's a 5-meter scrum. But if Harold Forster hadn't slipped then, he could very well have been over, and that would have been game over. And O'Brien, see, the knock on, and then Harold Forster just slips. Sexton's trying to get back. Jeremy O'Brien is already over the line there, so it will be a goal line dropout. Well, he had to get back because he had made the stuff up. So it will be a 22 dropout. Yeah, if Harold Forster doesn't slip there, he scores that, by the way. Right, so deep restart there to Kurt Lawrence away into Bulls territory. He launched it back. It should be fairly safe for O'Brien, who's wrapped up by Madosh Tumwe under a bit of pressure. So Johnny Sexton has to come in and do a bit of rucking. Ooh, dab over the top from Johnny Sexton. How's this gonna bounce? Kanan Moody comes across that. Hits the referee. So it will be, I think it was a knock-on from Kanan Moody anyway. But that's what Johnny Sexton brings to you. That's what we haven't seen the entire game. A little dink over the top. And if that ball had bounced a little bit more favorably, just waiting for it to come up there. I think it's Gary Ringrose who's after it. Yeah, and if it just pops up, I think he could have been in for the money. I think we, the Sharks, buy a few Bulls players. I was admiring your shoot at halftime. Thank you. Yeah, I'm really, really happy with how it's coming out. How many minutes in? We are at 58 minutes. Who's the programmer for the studio? Who's creating the template? So it's a combination of myself and my brother, actually, who's my business partner in Forever Sports. We had the old studio that some of you guys might remember, and we brought in a couple of more elements, a bit more active elements, stuff like that. As I said, we brought in the data feed to make sure the score and stuff like that is supposed to update automatically. That's a very intelligent kick in behind. Yeah, nice kicking behind there to put to force the Bulls into a 5-meter line. O'Brien needs to make up for his earlier error. Ooh, and a couple of words being said there. Not quite sure what's happening, but Johnny Sexton's doing what Johnny Sexton does. He's getting under the skin of some Bulls players. He does it very well. Now he's gearing up the crowd. Johnny Sexton, ladies and gentlemen. Well, the crowd's woken up. It's going to be SA Derby next Saturday, Records Martins. It's Stormers versus Bulls on Newland, Cape Town. Well, not Newlands, it'll be Cape Town Stadium. How many tries have been scored? 5, actually. Bulls have scored 3 and Leinster scored 2. So it's quite exciting for a semi-final. You don't usually get tries. Jaco Swanepoel's first line out. Zach Berg under a bit of pressure there. A couple of people trying to go for the interception. Pick up and go from Jan Grabela is forced back. A lot of Bulls players coming in to try and seal this ball. Zach Berger coming to try and get the boss kick going. Right, now he needs a good clearance here to Zach Berger, where he doesn't even find touch, which is not what he needed to do. So Loftus coming inside. He's brought down by Kanan Moody, who, apart from butchering a try, which didn't actually enter to matter, has played quite well tonight. Oh, sit down. Chris Smith's just been sat down. Now they're going to the side. Left Johnny Sexton. Well, what a pickup from Gibson Park. Oh, the ball's come off the... And it's been hacked out. And I don't know who's come off last. I think it's going to be a scrum to Bulls. What a pickup from Gibson Park. But it is turnover ball. So the Bulls still surviving. This is good rugby, by the way. How many tries have been scored? Yeah, so let me answer that. How long is the yellow card? I mean, James Ryan should be on pretty soon, I'd imagine. Another 2-3 minutes. Looks good, man. Do you have qualification in programming? No, not at all, actually. I've got a journal background. I've got a master's in journalism and media studies. And he's got a BCom in well, a postgraduate in well, a BCom and then a postgraduate in sports management. So none of us actually have anything to do with programming or design. I did some design, I suppose, during my studying years, but it's all kind of self-taught. The Irish treating like World Cup final, losing. You just did them like that. That's so deep. That's my favorite comment of the night. I mean, you're not wrong. That's a big scrum from Leinster, but Albert Lowe has come away with it under a little bit of pressure, though. He seems to have been a bit isolated. Leinster have won the penalty. Jack Cohen has taken it quickly. No, in fact, I think they've still got penalty advantage. Well, Leinster on the charge here. Gibson Park. Maloney now on the park. Gibson Park, a new advantage there. Dan Sheehan wrapped up by Arno Buerta. Leinster on the charge here. A 14-man Leinster on the charge here. You know, Andrew Porter. Gibson Park. Maloney once again. Gibson Park now going to the left. Skips Alalatoa. Jack Conan's brought down. Zach Berger's trying to... Oh, Alex Lowe was trying to slow things down a bit there. They're going to have to go again. I mean, they keep going for... Again, now it still would be tempted to go for the 3 points. If they're taking the 3 points, they'd be, what, 20? They'd be 4 points behind. They'd be going for a try to get back in the lead. Johnny deserves a penalty. Bulls starting to relax. We need a full 80. Yeah, all of a sudden, Leinster looking very sharp, very energetic. Sexton puts it out for a line out. They need a try here. Leinster, they're going to get back into this. Well, it's a hard tackle penalty, but it would have been a penalty earlier anyway. How's that not a Bulls penalty for lapsing the maul? What maul? It's off the back of the scrum. Oh, and another lost line out. I mean, they're the only worst enemies, aren't they? 9 points they've turned down. They would be 1 point behind if they're taking their 3. Well, Chris Smith booting it out, but I mean, Leinster, they're just not taking the points. And if they had taken the points throughout the match, they'd be 1 point behind with 18 minutes to go. But they keep refusing to take the points, and all of a sudden, they still trail by 10 points. Well, Janko Swanepoel will take a ball. He's the one that got up there and disrupted that lineup.
We're going to look at that.
Well, I wanted to have a look. Well, Johnny Sexton wanted to have a look at something. He saw something on the big screen, but as the referee says, no captain's challenges. And Ambrose appears onto the park as well. That's a better lineup for Leinster. That's what they needed the first time. Josh van der Fleer off the back of the lineup, looking to bring in Caelan Doris. Very good tackle by Marcel Gutsia. Well, initially first hit, but Caelan Doris does bounce away from it. Pick up and go. Yeah, penalty for Mantanzima. He did try very hard. Oh, Gibson Park threw his away, but didn't take it on the mark. Now, surely you have to take the 3 here, chaps. I know it's 17 minutes and it's getting a bit late to it, but they're probably going to score this one. What's the 3 penalties turned down? Yeah, 3 penalties, 9 points. This could be 12. This would be them ahead, by the way. Leinster can do this. Well, that's the first Leinster supporter we've seen here, apart from Sean O'Farrell. And once again, they're going for the line. I mean, look, they have to at this stage with 17 minutes to go. But, goodness me. If I was a Leinster fan, I'd be doing my head in. And they've done it again. They've done it again, except Ambrose Appiah might be bundled out here. They've done it again. They've lost another line out. I mean, how can you still keep going for the line out? If nothing else, why would you not go for a scrum if it's not working? That's 12 points they've turned down. And they've butchered every single line out. Well, Chris Smith's kick has been charged down, so it actually will be a Bulls line-out. Yeah, well, Leinster. I mean, you don't deserve nice things if you're gonna make silly decisions, and that's just been to keep turning the points down is bizarre. Right, so Bulls line out. Leinster will contest this. James Ryan's ready to leap ahead, but Janko Swanepoel does really well to win that. Looking for more here. Leinster need a big defense. They're driving it towards touchline, so Cobblon needs to be quite careful here. Use it once. Brosa Pierre goes to Harold Forster. They find a much better angle than Brosa Pierre, who's a very good box kicker, by the way. He's going to have a couple of blockers here. Right, Brosa Pierre. You won't find touch. Oh, my living. He's knocked it to the side, knocked it forward. Well, there it is, isn't it? It's just a comedy of errors. You turn down 6 points. You put in the pressure to get the kick. It doesn't go out, and O'Loughlin has just knocked it on. Well, Bulls have to go out and win this now. It's been a while since I've seen Leinster play this badly. So credit to the Bulls because they've been very good and they've forced the mistakes. But I mean, there's been far too many controllable mistakes, which I think Leinster have made. I mean, like a knock on there, not taking the points. I mean, that's just, I mean, your line out, and then you bring on Bismarck du Plessis. Now it's just pure desperation. Lions is why treat the playoff game like a regular season game. Just because they did well last week doesn't mean they try to repeat it. Literally, they should know how important 3 points is regarding La Rochelle. I mean, it's it's laughable because they should be in they would literally be in the lead if they'd taken all the kickable penalties. That's a massive scrum, by the way. It is available though. Held forced to go down the angle, but they would be in the lead if they'd taken the kickable penalties, and they haven't, and they're now trailed by 10 points with 14 minutes to go. 66 minutes is the time. Ryan Brosa Pierre lifts this high. O'Brien underneath it. Good tackle there by Robert Hunt. I mean, how's your tight head prop getting there first? Dedication. I love it. I love it. Right, replacement scrum half, by the way. So Gibson Park off. Johnny Sexton lifts it high. Robbie Henshaw, Gary Ringrose. No more, all chasing hard. Oh, that is sensational from Ringrose. Goodness me, that is a fantastic take. Now O'Brien puts it to the boot, and Brosa Pierre under a lot of pressure there. Oh, that's a high tackle, though. That's a high tackle. Not a high tackle. It looked like a high tackle. To be fair, it was a bit quite far, but Gary Ringrose, what a take out the air that is. Absolutely sent Kurt Lawrence flying. Straight down, presented the ball, kicking behind. And Brosa Pierre under a lot of pressure has been dragged out, so it will be a Leinster line out, which basically means it will be a Bulls line out. Let's have a look at this. From my angle, it looked pretty high. So he reckons around the shoulder. It's sort of over here. I mean, yeah, I think it's high. Yeah, that's high, chaps. It's a seatbelt tackle. It'll be a penalty.
Jimmy O'Brien, probably could have kept that in the hand. It was a great take in the air.
Right, so it will be a Bulls penalty. What a take, though, from Gary Ringrose, looking at that. Goodness minute. Look, it's not a dangerous tackle, but it is a high tackle. Kurt Lawrence, I'm glad he didn't land on the shoulder or something like that, because he went sprawling. Right, so the Bulls penalty. So Bismarck du Plessis has the ball in hand, just ahead of the halfway line. Well, Jake White looks calm, but inside he must be cucking himself. Because this is the pressure situations now. Well, here comes the rolling more from the Bulls, which looked really good in the second half. I don't know what they changed at half time, but it's looked really good. Bismarck Duplessis controlling things. Ambrose Pierre comes to get it. Gives it to Harold Forster. Harold Forster picks up and goes. Good appreciation of the laws there. Finds himself an extra few meters. Just inside the URC. Just inside Leinster territory. So the URC side. Ryan Ambrose Pierre's going to go to the boot now. Lifts in high in the air for Madosh Tumway to chase. It'll land just outside 22, so it's pretty well placed. Madosh Tumway gets up. Madosh Tumway does take it out the air. Brilliant stuff from the number 11. Robert Hunt now. Ambrose Pierre, or fancy hands there, Moscow. I'm not sure how intentional that was, but it works. Madosh Tumway is now run into Arno Boerta. I mean, mate, that's the second penalty you've conceded for obstruction. Stop running into your own players. I got so stupid. Not once, but twice in that instance, by the way. Yeah. Madosh. Jean-Marie says, I rate Ulster, but the Stormers is a wild card. Sean Farrell says, I would like seeing a new team on the trophy. Any as a Leinster fan, I hope this is the kick the team needs to improve. I mean, the sad thing is, 100%, I think the Bulls have been the better side. But Leinster could easily be leading. Not from a not from a what if, should have scored, could have scored, as in penalties in very kickable positions. Not like on the touchline, like very kickable positions being turned down. 4 of them. That's 12 points that they've turned down. Well, here comes Reece Ruddock. On for Jack Conan. It's decent line out there. Inside ball. Lamar's away. Gives it to Harry Ringrose. Kanan Moody. O'Brien. And Lamar's into the corner. Well, is there yet a twist in the tail? Can Leinster do it? 19 points, 24. Kick to come right up against the touchline. But that is what we've been waiting for. Clinical. And some fantastic offloading there. Really well timed. Really slick hands. It's a fantastic inside ball. Really good line being run there by Ringrose. But it's off the line up there. So many runners. Inside ball from Henshaw to Longmore. Then to, I think it's to Ringrose there. Then to Brian. And finally to O'Loughlin, who runs it in. Nice. The inside ball from Henshaw just takes out Chris Smith. Curtly Arnson gets taken out the game. Kanan Moody as well to chase down Gary Ringrose, but it's just a numbers game at the end of the day. Right, big kick this. He gets this over and they're 3 points away, which means a penalty would level things up.
Previous to that didn't score in 3 years, but that's a big moment to come up with for the Exeter born winner.
Nope, he'll miss it. It'll go wide. $19 points, 24 in the last 10 minutes. Well, if I was chasing a game, I would probably choose somebody like Johnny Sexton to be my side, captaining the side, putting the strings. I mean, as I said, they should be ahead, and maybe to a certain degree, Bulls might have capitalized on that yellow card and tried to bury the game, because Leinster actually have dominated the game even after the yellow card. Jonathan says they finally go wide and then score. Be narrow all game uphill. Game on, says Vic. Leinster tries always nice to watch. Sean Farrell says Lamore had to be part of the Irish team for the New Zealand series. It's been going well. Right, Robbie Henshaw, decides to go to the boot and it falls back to James Ryan. Captain Crunch says Bulls are now going to cuck. Should have put this game to bed a long time ago. Albie says Bulls, their own enemy. Tumway did the same thing twice and both times led to a try. Interesting point. Right, the boss kick there. Curtly Aronson underneath it. It's a good chase, though, from Leinster. They've got 9 minutes to get their hands on the ball, get to the other side of the park, and score a try. It's Imperial Mountain Zima chasing. It's a strong K from him. Bulls now just need to keep possession, don't they? How many minutes left? We're sitting at 8 minutes, just under 8 minutes left. Didn't go over the top there. Gives possession away. It's a good tackle, though, from Curtly Aronson. Dan Sheehan doing well to to take that. Now back O'Brien in the pocket. Not looking to find touch, though. Right up against touchline. He got forced to Caden Moody. Goes inside to Chris Smith. Chris Smith is going to put it high in the air. Who wants it? Who wants it? Well, it gets knocked back towards the side of the Bulls, and Chris Smith dives on it. So the Bulls do have possession. And they've got a penalty as well. Now then. Now then. Now then. Now then. I think it's on the halfway line. What's just inside on the right-hand side. Probably not in Chris Smith's range. But 3 points puts this game to bed. Why is my scoreboard not updating? This has been a disaster the entire game. It's 19 points, 24, by the way. They're going for the corner. Well, there goes Chris Smith. Yeah, Morley Staines on the park. You know why he's there. You know why he's there. Louis says, I wanted SAT to win the URC. Graham says, Glasgow game did Leinster no favours. Bulls were hardened by the Sharks game. Yeah, fair point. But I said, I don't think Leinster were actually probably good enough to win. Because they did turn down 12 kickable points. And they're 6 points behind. 5 points behind. So the quick maths. But look, but they haven't played well. Bulls have been the better side, although Leinster have been in Bulls territory for most of the second half. Just no reward because they kept going for line and then kept stuffing it up. So that set piece is going to come back to haunt them, unfortunately. And how weird that a team of the class and with so much experience has made so many rookie errors in a playoff match, as Bismarck du Plessis comes off the back of the maul. 6 minutes left. 6 minutes left. A penalty now. Bulls pop it over, and you'd reckon that's game. So Leinster cannot make a mistake here. James Ryan has turned it over, having said that was really poor from the Bulls. I don't know who the ball carrier was there. He's been completely isolated. Nobody helped him out there. But now, with 6 minutes to go, Caelan Doris, are Leinster going to kick it away? He's going to chip it over the top, but Dosh Tumway's backpedaling. Oh, O'Brien's run into it perfectly. Well, Lamore has slipped, but come away with it. So Leinster still in possession up into the 10-meter. Oh, my. Give the game to the Bulls. Give the game to the Bulls. That is huge. Maloney has dropped the ball inside Leinster territory and gifted the Bulls a scrum. Well, it's been those moments, hasn't it? There's been a couple of those moments. Leinster have been very sloppy. I mean, it was a perfect little tip over the top for Johnny Sexton, for O'Brien. And if O'Loughlin hadn't slipped here, I would be interested to see what would have happened, actually, because Kurt Lawrence was taken out by O'Brien. But then, oh, Maloney, that's horrible. Horrible, horrible, horrible. You won't want to watch that back. You will not want to watch that back. And a penalty. When did the penalty? Oh, well, here it is. It's written. It is written. Mornay Stain will line up a penalty. It's not a particularly difficult kick either. And this will surely book the Bulls a place in the URC final. He's done it before. He's sunk the British and Irish Lions last year with a 79-minute quick. Now, Mornay Stain turns, says thank you very much. 3 points, Bulls 27, Leinster 19. 4 minutes to go. If Leinster do not score off the kickoff, they are going home. Bulls, well, they're going to go to a pub tomorrow and they're going to sit there and wait to see if they're either going to... And funny what happens when you take the points, Leinster. Like, the scoreboard goes up and you actually go in the lead. They go short, they do Leinster, and they do have it back. Well, Sean Cronin has just walked onto the park, and what an intervention that is. Andrew Porter at first receiver. O'Brien's down the side here. What a break from O'Brien. Gary Ringrose, Bismarck du Plessis. Well, for once, Bismarck du Plessis has not buckled and given away a penalty. I thought he had, in which case they would have just popped it over. But there's still Caelan Doris. Well, a try here and suddenly could still be on. But Caelan Doris has now turned really poorly and can see the penalty. That should be it. That should be it.
Morgan City kicks the kick. And Bismarck should have had a turnover to Rook beforehand. But he gets in on that ball. He's always been one of the best jackals in the world.
Well, Leo Cullen back to the drawing board. I mean, you sit there thinking, how have we made a mess of these? How? And it comes down to just not taking the points. It's. I mean, it was a fantastic take out the air there from Sean Cronin. Where are the guys like James Lowe? I think he's injured, isn't he? The difference of growth in the first game now is impressive. Yeah, well, it's just... But talk about being your own worst enemies. First of all, the set piece has been shocking. And second of all, they just didn't take the points. They never took the points. They had opportunity to take the points, and they said no. And the Bulls are saying, well, fine, if you're going to be stupid, literally, if you're going to be stupid, we're going to win the game. Ambrose Appiah kicking it deep. Adosh Tambwe, chase hard, yeah, lad. This is everything at the moment. Good. This is a really nice little run. Oh, huge hit there by Marcel Garcia. Man of the match has to go to Leinster decision making, but they are on the attack here. Johnny Sexton, another chip over the top. Where's he going to bounce? Oh, well, Gary Ringrose almost managing to hold it up, but did knock it down. So his possession is back with the Bulls. And Ambrose Appiah, oh, he's been charged down, but they will go back for the scrum. It's weird to see a Bulls team kicking the ball away in this stage of the game. I grew up with the Bulls where this was like in their element. 4 minutes to go, see out a game, you'll just see 15, bang. Hit contact, bang. Yeah, Johan Kobela, player of the match. What a game. What a player. Right, less than 2 minutes to go. 78 minutes, 15 seconds is the clock. Please do smash the like, by the way. Come, people. 476 people. Surely there are 42 people here who haven't subscribed. I want to see that subscribing button. 10,758. 10,800 is on, yeah, people. 10,800 is on. They're having a reset scrum. There's nothing for you to worry about right now. So quickly hit the subscribe button. I want to see it going up. It's such a satisfying thing to see it going ding, 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 ding. What are some of the people saying here? Bulls forwards made the difference. I agree. Leinster coach wondering how they're resting all their players so much has led to this. Johnny Sexton might as well be coach this game. Time have to watch on the phone, but well played Bulls. As Quas says, well, welcome Quas. Where have you been? Where you been, lad? Hit the like button as well. Sean Farrell says, I often get frustrated as Leinster fan that they keep going to the corner all the time. They'll take the kicks. Well done, Bulls. Well, Rose Appiah to Morne Steyn. Morne Steyn just dabbing it over the top. That's well taken. That's there by. But they have to go down the side. Ambrose Appiah is. Oh my goodness! I mean, it's all happening. Leinster got the possession. They've got 1 minute and 10 seconds to score. Too many points at the end of the day. They need 9 points. They're not going to get it in a minute. As we go into the final minute, Bulls are going to the final, ladies and gentlemen. Bulls are going to the final. Unless Leinster were to run it in the next 20 seconds and kick off, Bulls are guaranteed a spot in the final here. Inside ball from Sexton. The time is just ticking away. The time is ticking away. Zan says, game over. All set for final. We'll wear NC from Stormers whilst Leinster go out to the left. Henshaw, he's worked hard this game. I'll give him that. Christopher says, impressive performance. Obviously, it's hard to hold the ball for 2 minutes straight. Bulls should be playing around the corners. Hey, the Bulls used to be able to do it, eh? Good hands here from Leinster, but with 15 seconds to go, it's just not going to be enough time. Ismail says, we're coming for the Stormers. I hope Stormers win tomorrow. Yeah, I mean, all South African final. How awesome is that? Quite apart from anything else, the favourites have just gone out. So, South Africa now have a statistical 66% chance of winning in terms of the remaining teams left. Well, there it is. The clock goes red. The Bulls will be in the final. And it's a penalty for Leinster, but it's too late. It's too late. No, it doesn't matter. They can go for the polls. They can go for whatever they want. It's too late. All they can do now is give their fans a consolation try to say thanks for the season. We'll see you guys next year. That's all they can do. Leinster are out. The Bulls have done it. CPO Ring says, we lost this match rather than Bulls winning, but props to them anyway. Yeah, I mean, you're not wrong. I think the Bulls probably were better in terms of being more clinical. But yeah, I can 100% agree with the concept of them losing the match. Hang on, that's Dan Sheehan. I saw Sean Cronin on. As an Ulster fan, I hope we perform tomorrow because the final at Ravenville will be awesome. That's a good point. Ulster now playing for a home final. Stormers to win the whole show. Records Zanzi Club. Comic Club. Frank Clark says, congratulations to the Bulls. Well deserved. Separate teams have been a godsend to the URC. I was shouting for Leinster, by the way. Now, you see, that's what we like to see. None of these bloody Englishmen who are just, oh, why are they in a European Champions Cup? We're mates, actually. I think us and the Irish and the Welsh and the Scottish, I reckon we all get quite along quite well. We could probably all just not like the English together. Because, yeah, they don't want us, so what's the problem? Another penalty here. New Junior Boy saying, congratulations to the Bulls. What's the choice? If it's a Stormers versus Bulls final, where will they play? Cape Town. They will be in Cape Town, correct. So Stormers playing for a home final tomorrow. Leinster playing for a home final tomorrow. I mean, what more could you want to play for in a semi-final? But Leinster are still having a go. Well, they've scored. They will finish with a try. It won't be enough, though. Leinster will bow out of the competition in the semi-finals. What a performance from the Bulls. What an absolute disaster. Oh, my goodness. Speaking of disaster, my yellow card's still up. But what a bizarre performance from the best side in the tournament. And they were the best side in the tournament. They topped the log with the game to spare. But they just couldn't do it. So Johnny Sexton pops that over. And the Bulls players, well, look at the smiles there. I mean, they are absolutely finished. But what a match. Marcel could see take a bow. He has led this team throughout the season. He will now be leading them out either in Ireland. They might be popping off. I know that girl. Oh, an old schoolmate on the TV there. Banging. I bet 3 points plus miss. No finals said at URC choice, not for South African teams. No, that's actually not correct. It was going to be in South Africa, and then they said no, the traditional thing. Bulls versus Ulster final, I would say. Did they say proud Bulls? Let's go, boys. The Bulls still suck. Funny thing is, one kick all they need, and it has done none. Exactly. They had 12 kickball opportunities, 12 points they could have gotten, and they decided not to do it. So, Honey says, don't ever mess with the Bulls. They're the kings of rugby in Europe. Honey, but you were quiet the entire match now. Hey, now you're coming in here now. Yes, Bulls, Louis, how awesome to see Mornay and Bismarck playing together again. People, what a match. What an encounter. What a spectacle. We are done for the night. That was a hell of a watch-along. I'm like sweating here. What a game. What a competition, people. What a competition. We had a brilliant semi-final between the Bulls and the Sharks last week. I mean, quarter-final. What a semi-final we've just had. We had a fantastic quarter-final between Ulster and Munster. A brilliant quarter-final between Edinburgh and Stormers. This competition has been brilliant. It's really been an absolute brilliant competition. People laughed at it. People didn't like certain things. But I have loved it, and now we are a week away from seeing a final. We've got our first finalist. It is Bulls. We will see you tomorrow. Please make sure you subscribe to the channel on the way out. We're closing in on that 10,800, so thank you so much to everyone here who joined in. Super Char, thank you so much for the super chat. Really appreciate it. That's a nice little way to end it. That's made my day, actually. Thank you for joining me. Thank you, guys. As I said, we'll see you guys tomorrow. And so Leinster fans, we'll see you guys next season. You're basically like the Lions, you know. If you're not first, you're last. No, in all seriousness, though, fantastic stream, fantastic day, fantastic rugby. Keep safe, everybody, and we'll see you guys all next time.